Good morning, Mueller junkies. This is AG, and I'm very proud and excited to announce that we're nearing 200,000 downloads. And to celebrate, we'll be hosting MSW Live this July 3rd at the world-famous Comedy Store in San Diego. We'll do some comedy sets, have some past guests join us, and answer your Mueller questions live in a panel Q&A. So plan your summer vacation now and join us in San Diego July 3rd at the Comedy Store in La Jolla. VIP tickets are available for pre-panel cocktail meet and greet hour, where you can hang out with AG, Jaleesa, Jordan, and some of our other past guests and business partners. As always, patrons get a discount code on regular VIP tickets, so head over to MuellerSheWrote.com to become a patron today, and we will see you on the 3rd of July. This podcast may contain laughter.
So to be clear, Mr. Trump has no financial relationships with any Russian oligarchs.
That's what he said. That's what I said. That's obviously what our position is.
I'm not aware of any of those activities. I have been called a surrogate at a time or two in that campaign, and I did not have communications with the Russians.
What do I have to get involved with Putin for? I have nothing to do with Putin. I've never spoken to him. I don't know anything about him other than he will respect me. Russia, if you're listening, I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing.
So, it is political. You're a communist.
No, Mr. Green. Communism is just a red herring. Like all members of the oldest profession, I'm a capitalist.
Greetings! I am your anonymous host, AG, and this is Mueller, She Wrote. With me, as always, is Jaleesa Johnson.
Hello.
And Jordan Coburn.
Hello.
Guys, this was quite a week. We did a breaking news episode on Tuesday morning on the 49 questions released by the New York Times that was leaked by someone in the White House. So check that out if you missed it. It's free for everyone. Today, Jordan is going to go over Rudy Giuliani going full Nunberg, and Jaleesa is going to tell us about the interview with Caputo. I will be reporting on the ongoing battle between House Republicans and Rod Rosenstein. But let's kick it off with just the facts. All right, guys, a few stories came out Sunday while we were recording. First, a BP executive named Bob Dudley was slowly being poisoned by the Russians. He had to leave Moscow after blood tests indicated as much. He was running a very profitable joint venture with Ilya Zaslavsky and TNK BP. That's British Petroleum, and TNK is Russian. It seems Russian authorities wanted Dudley out so they could have everything, and they began poisoning him. The poisoning began 2 years after Litvinenko was exposed to polonium and a decade before the attempted assassination of Sergei Skripal by the Russians on UK soil. So,
wow.
Yeah, more shit.
Yeah.
It's oil executive. Interesting.
Adding to the shit sandwich.
Totally. That sounds disgusting.
It is.
I just had to, yeah, thanks for the visual image there, Jaleesa.
Very toxic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be too early for this for most of people. The poop jokes right off the bat.
That's true. I never take that into consideration. The things these people have to hear sometimes.
Well, they'll have their morning shit and then they'll hear about
Happy Monday.
I'm sorry, please continue.
Thank you. Rumors leaked Sunday night that John Kelly thinks Trump is an idiot and is becoming unhinged. Then Kelly fired back and said that's BS.
Sorry.
Go ahead, what?
I was just going to say, saying he's becoming unhinged is really late in the game.
Maybe he said it 6 months ago. I don't know. Anyway, whether or not it's true, I think Kelly's days are numbered. Trump is now going around him, having Bolton and Pompeo report directly to him, effectively circumventing the chief of staff. I don't think he has much time left, and that would be weird. It would just pretty much leave Mad Dog Mattis as the only sane person in the White House. And as I said, we would have to change his name to Moderate Dog Mattis because he's not the crazy one anymore.
No way.
I like Moderate Dog.
I like that too, yeah.
Trump used the cover of The Inquirer, a tabloid rag owned by his close friend Pecker, to basically bully Cohen this week. The cover says, quote, Michael Cohen's secrets and lies, unquote. A strong sign, by the way, that Trump is turning against him. When asked about whether or not he thought there was a message, Cohen said, what do you think? That's, I figure, what he sounds like.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Definitely.
2 Utes.
Yeah.
I think Trump is saying, quote, this is the kind of shit you can expect the rest of your life if you flip. But I think Cohen will have the last laugh, though it will likely be from a jail cell.
Yeah.
But a much shorter sentence than he would have otherwise received. Then Politico published a story about an FBI agent found to have leaked, lied, and mishandled classified information, but that will face no criminal charges. There are no other details about who the FBI agent is, other than this agent appeared to have retired while an inquiry into his conduct was underway. That's according to the DOJ Inspector General. An investigative summary says investigators opened an inquiry after receiving allegations that the special agent contacted witnesses in a criminal investigation for improper purposes. It also says the agent leaked sensitive information to unauthorized people, misused electronic devices. What
does that mean?
Are you using the vibrate mode
not
for dirty things? Or what?
Were they also in Twitter jail?
But dialing wrong numbers? I don't know.
When you first started that, I thought that was going to be a story planted by the conservatives about Comey.
Yeah.
The big reveal.
Or McCabe.
It was Comey.
He also gave misleading, might it be she, the special agent gave misleading testimony, gave misleading testimony during a related civil deposition, mishandled classified information, misused misused his position during contact with cops, and gave false information to the OIG. That's the Office of the Inspector General. The report concludes that the agent will not be criminally prosecuted. So the double standard for whomever this agent is versus folks like Andy McCabe is striking to me. We know this is not McCabe because this special agent retired in the middle of the investigation, and McCabe didn't testify in a civil matter related to the charges that I'm aware of. I couldn't find anything, but I mean, that might not be a public thing.
Right, good point.
But he didn't retire in the middle of the investigation, so we know it's not McCabe.
Is the assumption that he was pro-Trump?
I don't know. There's nothing indicating that at all. It could be one of the New York field office guys, but I'd be guessing. That's not even conjecture. That's just guessing.
Just a guess, yeah. No inspirational poster for that one.
No.
I'm just guessing.
You can always make one.
With a bird flying, hitting a window.
Yeah.
You got it. You follow me.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Monday, the New York Times, Mike Schmidt, who's part of our Sexy Justice calendar, by the way. And I have to thank you guys for your patience on the Sexy Justice calendar. We ran into a lot of licensing problems. I thought I could just throw up a bunch of pictures of these people. It turns out the Getty images cost about $5,200 a piece.
Jesus.
They're all licensed by media. So we had to get creative. So I think you're really going to love it. It's actually much better than what I was originally envisioning.
Yeah. It's way better than I could have ever imagined.
So we're going to be sending those out this month. I really have to thank you guys for your patience on that and sticking with us. We will live up to our word.
And are we allowed to plug the person that made it for us?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was designed by Moxie Design Studios, Joel Reeder. And if you need any art or artwork or creative or web design done, you really should check out moxiedesignstudios.com.
Yeah, you're gonna be mind blown by the quality of the Photoshop.
Seriously.
It's insane. It's so good. And the thoughtfulness that went into it. It's not just pictures.
It's an experience.
You'll see. And if you sign up, first 5 people to sign up at the $14 level, get a calendar and 2 VIP meet and greet tickets to MSW Live on July 3rd.
Oh, shit.
Sorry, I had to plug that in the main episode.
You gotta.
You can pretend you didn't hear it, patrons.
Our patrons would want to know about it, though.
Some of them love it, to keep in the know.
And then, of course. So anyway, Mike Schmidt, who's in our Sexy Justice calendar, and a guy named Apuzzo got a hold of 49 questions written by Sekulow, Trump's lawyer, based on 16 areas of interest that Mueller's team gave Trump's lawyers. These questions are pretty much an outline of our podcast so far. And there were only a couple of surprises. So check out our bonus episode that came out earlier in the week. If you missed that, it's free for everybody. We released it Tuesday morning because we had to. Please don't hold us to do that every week.
Yeah, it's a good thing we did too, because there's too much news this week to also have to go.
There
over
is.
that.
If I had to throw in the 49 questions, we would have a 3-hour episode on our hands. And I know
maybe in the future with more patrons someday. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Oh yeah, if we can get another 9,000 patrons,
we're all yours.
We can do this daily, full time.
Definitely, yeah.
So find 9,000 friends. Bring them on over.
Closest friends.
Bring them on over to MuellerSheWrote.com. As soon as we get there, we can do this full time.
Oh yeah.
And I don't have to keep hiding my identity.
It's a good one, too.
I don't have to keep working from the shadows.
You're like a superhero.
I can be
vampire
free.
AG.
Free AG.
There you go, yeah.
Join the revolution and the resistance. Blah.
I love that.
All right, so also on Monday, this is funny, we learned that Pence's doctor privately raised concerns about Ronnie Jackson. That's the embattled VA secretary nominee that Trump has a hard-on for some reason. The main concern was that Jackson violated HIPAA protections for Pence's wife and then intimidated Pence's doctor during a confrontation over the episode.
Jesus.
HIPAA is like medical privacy,
Right.
I'm not going to tell you. You look it up.
Yeah.
The incident was detailed in 3 memos by Pence's doctor, and the White House was made aware of it, and made aware that Jackson blabbed about the second lady's health to White House staff and other medical providers without consulting her or her physician.
I wonder if it was embarrassing.
Funny, oddly enough, later in the week, Pence's physician would resign. So.
Why do all these people have their own physicians? Are they fucking NFL athletes? What,
They're
they sit
wealthy.
there all day and they do nothing.
I have my
I
own.
mean, with their brain, but with their body,
I
they
have my own
don't.
physician.
Good for you. Hey.
Yeah, well, yeah, but
I
like
forget,
for
it's not wrong to be wealthy.
every like the president needs a doctor, the vice president needs a doctor.
Kanye wants bodyguards.
You think they'd have like a White House doctor that they could all just?
You're right. Just share it like I share my doctor.
Like if they're competent enough to be the president's doctor, they're probably competent enough to be the vice president's doctor.
I actually would like my own doctor someday. So I try to think like in terms of if you can afford it, like privatized healthcare like that. I think why not, right? It's like going to a charter school. I'm with you. I'm poor, so I'm also like, man, that must be nice. But if I can get it someday, I want it.
Well, it's clear what we need. We need a free, universal, national healthcare program.
There you go.
So everyone can have a free thing. And then if you want to pay for a fancy private doctor,
then why not? It's America.
Yeah.
But
Put it
yeah,
on,
you're
yeah.
right. If the healthcare wasn't so bad, like Jordan, like you said, like it wouldn't be an issue.
I would continue to go to the VA. The VA is one of the greatest healthcare systems in the world.
Nice.
You might disagree with me. Sorry.
Hey, I appreciate the heads up.
A lot of people are like, no, it's not. It sucks. It's the worst
It's a
thing
big
ever.
issue, but they're trying, right?
Well, they have a 96% customer satisfaction rating.
Oh,
you only hear the bad stories.
You're right.
Kaiser
That's
is
fake
worse.
news.
Scripps is worse. Every private healthcare
Really?
insurer is worse than the VA. And the
That's
VA,
really good to know.
I
the
trust
VA
you,
serves
yeah,
almost
yeah.
10 million patients. So
So I got to join the military or marry someone in it? That's my best bet.
you could do it.
Really?
Yeah, and you get free college and
Oh, you mean the military?
Yeah.
What's going to happen with Mueller, Shiro? What?
get shore duty, bro.
You're right.
Be in the Air Force.
I'll see you guys later.
Yeah, you could do.
She's out. She's like, I'm gonna go join in the Navy.
I turn my life around.
Turn your life
Just
around.
leave comedy for the respectable lifestyle.
For justice.
Yeah. Been reading Comey's book too much, Shalisa. Get your head on straight.
The House Freedom Caucus, probably the most a-hole of all the caucuses, leaked drafted articles of impeachment for Rod Rosenstein on Tuesday. And I'll be going over that a little bit later in the show.
Predictable.
Freedom Caucus. Freedom Fest. Also on Tuesday, Mueller asked for a 60-day extension on the sentencing of Michael Flynn. Now, 3 months ago, he asked for a 90-day extension, which makes sense because 3 months is 90 days. So it seems he believes we only have a couple months to go. I think 90 days is the max you can ask for. So back in February, he probably didn't see an end in sight. He just asked for the max. But now he's only asking for a 60-day extension. So I think what he's saying is we're looking at the end of June. And our meet and greet is in July, first week of July.
Oh
so,
my God. What a great
Imagine-
panel discussion that'll
Yes.
be.
And Manafort's trial starts July 10th.
Yep.
Anyway, this extension was a joint ask by Mueller and Flynn's lawyers. And like I said, Manafort's trial starts in July. Our live Q&A show is July 3rd. My exercise program wraps up at the end of June. My second week of executive leadership training is the last week of June.
It's a big month.
We'll be wrapping up around 200,000 downloads by then. And if all goes well, I think July 1st, this podcast will be in the black.
Yay.
Thanks to our
guys.
patrons.
This is a good
yeah,
time
it's
to be alive, despite the reason we're here.
And yeah, despite that whole thing. And our sexy justice calendar begins in July. It's not a January to January sitch. It's July to July. And I did that because it lines up with Manafort's trials.
Oh my God, you're right.
It's also Independence Day that week. It's going to be an insane week.
My favorite movie,
Aliens.
the first one. Yeah, yeah. Love Aliens.
Today we celebrate our Independence Day. That's a weird sentence. I never liked it. We should start asking Pod Save America if we can cross over around then.
We really,
if
for the country.
If you're listening, Pod Save America, we can increase your listenership in the female category considerably. And I hope you like wine. If not, I could probably bring some beer.
So I guess,
I guess.
we can be bros.
We can play some cornhole.
Oh, yeah.
Play some cornhole.
And there's one host for each of us. We could pair up. I mean, like, we can make it a thing.
Play drinking Jenga.
There you go, yeah.
Quarters.
Battle
Wine.
of Sexist, guys. We could have a sleepover. Let's just cross over and see where it goes.
You guys. Yeah, seriously, Pod Save America, if you're listening. Then we had a holy shit Tuesday moment when we learned that Giuliani is renegotiating a sit-down between Mueller and Trump because apparently Mueller floated the idea of subpoenaing Trump back in March 5th. What happened, according to the Washington Post, was that Mueller's team met up with Trump's lawyers to give them 16 topics they'd like to discuss with the president. Dowd was encouraging Trump not to sit down with Mueller. So Mueller said that the Office of Special Counsel was not ruling out forcing Trump to testify with a subpoena. And Dowd got pissed, and he stood up and he's like, this isn't some game. You're screwing with the work of the President of the United States. The fine work of the President of the United States.
Impeccable.
Yeah, I'm glad he's so invested. What a patriot.
It's it ain't hard to shut shit down, okay? Mm-hmm. Anybody can do it.
Yeah. God, yeah.
In fact, you might even have somebody who would be able to shut shit down more effectively.
Hey, he solved the Korean War, okay?
Seriously.
It was me. I had everything to do with it.
I learned Korean.
No, he totally did not.
I don't read, but I somehow learned Korean.
So we also learned that the list of 49 questions was written by Sekulow in this report, which means it was leaked by Trump's side, which makes Trump's tweet, "The leak is a disgrace," extra hilarious.
Very Trumpian, though. Yeah,
You're very disgraceful, yes. You and all of your people. It could not have been leaked by Mueller's side because there's no list like it on the Mueller team. Plus, it was full of grammar and spelling errors. So they were pretty sure it came from Trump's side.
Yeah.
It's Jay Sekulow's list is basically what it boils down to. Something very important to consider, though, I want to tell you. Mueller would not have suggested he could subpoena Trump if that idea was not fully vetted within the Department of Justice, meaning Rosenstein is on board with a subpoena of the President of the United States. And something else, if Mueller does subpoena the President, this could drag. So I'm hoping Emmett Flood maybe brings some sense of reasonableness to the... I doubt it.
Yeah.
I hope not.
I don't think he'll last very long.
Yeah.
I think he'll get in there and be like, holy shit, and he'll just I'm out.
I would like for them to be represented by the most incompetent people.
Which is what's happening, really.
It is.
Yeah.
Caputo spoke to Mueller on Wednesday, and Jaleesa is going to go over an interview he did afterwards with us, Mikey Caputo. We found out Wednesday that Cambridge Analytica shut down, but we expected that. We reported a while back that Data listed Chun-Chun Ko, Alex Taylor, and Alexander Nix as their directors back in January and would likely be taking over the work of Cambridge Analytica. Chun-Chun Ko, by the way, incidentally, is Eric Prince's business partner in Hong Kong.
Oh, what a coincidence.
We also learned Wednesday that Trump paid the Ukrainian government to stop cooperating with the Mueller investigation.
Mm-hmm.
And
it worked.
Amazing.
Yeah, in the form of a condo, right? Is that what it was?
No, missiles.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ.
Javelin missiles.
Didn't know that.
Javelin missiles.
Wow, did he just throw him over there?
Yeah.
Here you go.
Lamar's limp-wristed throwing style.
Don't tell anyone about this.
No, he was basically, and this is conjecture, but I'm right. He was basically saying, I'll give you all these missiles, Ukraine, if you drop these investigations. There were there were hundreds of investigations going on into the old government that was overthrown.
Right.
The guy who was overthrown that Manafort helped elect, oddly. And thousands of investigations, like documents, and 4 of these investigations included Manafort, and they don't want to upset Trump, so they shut him down.
Wow. And they're feuding with Putin now, right? With Russia. Ukraine is still...
They always have been, yeah.
So,
since the fall of the Soviet Union.
Yeah, what a weird triangle of, a relationship there. It's going all directions.
Yeah,
that is weird. I imagine Putin feels strange about that, right?
Mm-hmm. He must know that Trump is doing this and still be cool with Trump for a higher or bigger reason.
Trump calls up Putin on the back channel. He's like, "Don't worry, Vlad. I'm selling them shitty missiles. They don't work."
Yeah,
they're duds.
Yeah, once they get halfway, they actually turn around and come back and bomb themselves.
Glitter pops at it.
It's like Doc Brown getting plutonium from the Libyans by selling him shoddy pinball machine parts or something,
or blinks, like nuclear blinks.
Yeah. It's just a dud. Sorry.
He probably calls up Vlad. He's like, "I've got this great idea, Vlad. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send fake missiles, tremendous fake missiles."
That is a great idea.
To the Ukraine in order to get them to stop investigating my contacts with Russia.
I would give Trump mad props if he thought of anything close to that.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way to test missiles. Maybe I got to get into the missile dealing game.
In the blank missile business.
Sell high school's dud missiles.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're expired.
Missiles full of baking powder.
Got you some potpourri and some missiles.
Oh, they smell deliciously clean.
That's great.
Then Maddow did a segment, you guys. I was so excited. Maddow did a segment on a tweet I sent her the day before about Manafort and Kalimnik. On Tuesday, Rachel did a whole segment on the New York Times reporting about the 49 questions that Mueller could ask Trump. And one of those questions was about Manafort reaching out to the Russians. And she said that there had been no public reporting on anything like that, and it was a very intriguing question. Well, I tweeted at her and I reminded her about Manafort reaching out to Russia and offering private briefings to Deripaska via Kalimnik to, quote, make whole the $18 million or so that Manafort owed him from his time working in the Ukraine. And the next day, she did a whole segment on Manafort and Deripaska and Kalimnik and tied it into the question from the 49 questions. And she even had the guy from the New York Times who broke the Kalimnik story in 2016 on her show. So, Rachel, you owe me $5.
You know, at the very least, it's great minds think alike. At best, someone on her team is like, maybe checking out MSW. I want to believe it. Like, best case scenario, someone, even the intern that gives her coffee, I'm like, yo, just slip in a good word.
She has teams of people poring over tweets, I'm sure.
I bet, yeah.
And it may have been a total coincidence.
But it's a great one to have.
Interesting. We'll make a special patron level just for you, Rachel, if you want to send
Oh, my God.
$5,000.
Yeah, just for Rachel. We'll call it just for Rachel. It's $1,000.
I'm going to say she could be on the show for free. Like, I'm going to just throw that out there. And then
We're not covering room and board, though.
Oh, damn it. Fine.
Stay in my room.
If you want to call in and be a guest, I guess that would be pretty good for us. Yeah, by the way, I just have to tell you, Maddow is my hero, so I don't want you to
My
think that-
old, passwords used to be, I love Rachel Maddow.
Nice.
Like, I swear. She's the greatest.
That's amazing.
She's pretty incredible. Like,
Nobody hacked me. I think I changed them all.
Oh, yeah, you dummy.
It's been a couple of years.
What's your social security number, Jaleesa?
I'm not falling for that one again.
Again. God, you're funny. Let's see. We learned Wednesday that Cohen and Trump are refusing to tell Trump's own lawyers what they can expect to have been found in the Michael Cohen raids. That's hilarious to me. Trump's lawyers are pissed. How long do you think Emmett T. Flood's going to be there?
Yeah.
By the time this comes out, he might be gone.
Yeah, seriously. Tell us.
Then, just when you thought it was safe to go to sleep on Wednesday, Rudy Giuliani goes full Nunberg on Fox News. More specifically on Sean Hannity's show. The news of his revelations hit immediately, and it hit hard. Twitter blew up. Basically, Giuliani completely destroyed Trump's Stormy Daniels defense, and he said Trump had corrupt intent when he fired Comey. So he proved Comey right, and he fucked him on the Daniels thing. It was unbelievable, and Jordan is going to go over that.
I'm so excited. He's such an idiot.
Yeah.
Oh my God, such an idiot.
Dang.
It's amazing.
It's almost flabbergasting. Like, I don't understand it. And I guess now that
there are no legal experts who can figure out what the strategy was.
No.
The only thing I could think of is that he's paving the way to get the truth out there because it's going to come out.
Yeah. Oh. Right. Strategy-wise, but if you watch the interview, it does not seem like he's thinking at all. No. It's just flying into his fucking brain.
And you'll get more into that.
Yeah. He's such a ranty psycho.
Dude, it was weird.
Just like all of Trump and his homies.
He called Comey perverted? Whatever.
Yeah.
I hope.
Oh.
Yeah. Finally, late Thursday night, Mueller dropped 70 blank subpoenas for witnesses to appear to testify in the Manafort case that begins July 10th. That's 1 week after MSW Live, Comedy Store in La Jolla. That's funny. I just threw that in there, but in my script it says, that's 1 week after our meet and greet.
Oh, hell yeah.
We really hope I'm just as much of a corny asshole
I love it.
on paper as I am
You're genuine.
Spontaneously.
Ooh, spontan.
How did I predict what I would say? Okay.
By the way, how can he call Comey perverted when he calls him a choir boy at the same time? I'm just...
Because that wasn't his tweet. That was...
That's right. Okay.
Scavino's
They're
tweet.
not on the same
also,
page.
choir boys are generally perverted, not by their own accord.
You're
but,
right.
You know,
band camp.
That's just the
Choir has a
little
camp.
Catholic molesting
Good point.
joke.
Hey, patterns and facts. You're right.
6 a.m.
Good morning. Happy Monday. We really hope you can plan your vacation and come spend time with us on July 3rd, you guys. Anyhow, these subpoenas number 70, and each witness gets 2, so that's 35 witnesses. And I assume that these are the ones that aren't cooperating, because you wouldn't have to subpoena those guys. I wouldn't think.
I have a question.
So you have 35 angry, uncooperative people that are going to have to show up.
That's a mob. What were you going to say, Jordan?
Why do they get 2?
There's a reason. It's procedural. You get one to show up and one to bring shit with you. I think I can't.
Oh, interesting.
I can't remember, but
yeah, bring a friend to court day.
it's a procedural thing.
Yeah.
Documents like, I'd have to look it up.
The first time I read the word subpoena, my dad's an attorney, and he brought it home, like a paper home one night that said subpoena on it, and it was also the same time that I learned of the word penis, so I was very confused.
That's hilarious,
that is
Jordan.
the one I always
Dude, I hope that becomes a bit someday. That's the most brilliant premise.
Every time I see the word public, I think it says pubic.
Yes.
And every time I see esplanade, I think it says espionage.
Yep. Virginia,
Hey, we're all
vagina.
human.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, then we get to Friday. Judge Ellis, the judge presiding over the Manafort case in the Eastern District of Virginia, ripped into Mueller's team about the scope of their investigation during a hearing about Manafort's motion to have their charges dismissed. He filed a similar motion, in fact, a whole civil case, in the D.C. court, and that judge denied it and dismissed it. Now, Fox News and the Trump heads are glomming onto this, but there's something they don't know, which is a lot. But there's this one thing they don't know, is that Judge Ellis does this to pretty much every legal team that will likely win their case, and he does this to bolster his appearance of impartiality. I tweeted this notion and got attacked by Trumpers and Russian trolls. Well, I have a surprise for you doubters, okay? So I'm going to make a phone call right now.
What?
Please state your name after the tone, and Google Voice will try to connect you.
Oh.
I will bleep that out. Don't worry.
Thank you. This is so primitive.
You have reached the voice.
4:45 Eastern would be one. Maybe she's still in court. She's calling us back. Hello?
Hi, it's Kim Phillips. It's Hokey Horn.
Hi. Hi. Yes, this is.
How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing really good.
All right. So I've been telling our listeners about a tweet that I put out saying that Judge Ellis kind of has a reputation about ripping into prosecutors. And I wanted to get, first of all, can you tell us who you are and what you do?
Okay, well, my name's Kimberly Phillips, and I'm an attorney. I've been a criminal defense attorney for about 20 years. I am admitted to practice in Virginia, D.C., the Eastern District, and the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals. And so I have been in front of Judge Ellis once, but know him, know his reputation, and have some really interesting stuff to tell you all today.
Great. So let's start off by telling everybody a little bit about how Judge Ellis operates and what kind of, I hear that rumors that this is kind of how he is. Can you go into that for us?
Yeah, it's exactly how he is. I think I joked on Twitter about being Ellis, kind of changing his name into a verb, because kind of everybody who goes before him sort of, if you're not prepared, if you're not kind of really in line, he will obliterate you.
Yeah.
And the example that I had was the case that I had with him. It was just a really simple plea to a Social Security fraud case. And I don't even remember, it was like one element that the government didn't take into account. And he just dressed down the government attorney, and the attorney was what's called a special assistant United States attorney. And what that is a lot of times people from other departments in the government will come into a U.S. attorney's office and spend like 6 months doing kind of low-level cases, and they're called special assistant United States attorneys. And it's one of these things where, he's part of the program, and he just was like, you all need to get your assistant specials better training and have them prepared, and they keep coming in here, and I'm just kind of standing there like, should I do something?
All right, Kimberly, another thing I heard was that he tends to lay into the side that might be likely to win to kind of show impartiality. That was sort of my assertion as to why he did this. Is that kind of what you gather as well from people who've been Ellis'd?
Yeah. Honestly, it's for everybody. He's very big on you can't just come in and do it just because. He wants, all the I's dotted, the T's crossed, and that's a little bit of what I've got for you in terms of what happened at the hearing on Friday.
Okay, and then I think that you had told me that you have some more information or a scoop for us on EDVA and the Manafort case. Is that correct?
I do, but can I call you right back because they're calling me into the courtroom?
Oh my goodness, yes, they're calling you into court. No problem. Be careful.
Thank you.
The suspense is killing me.
Bye.
I love it. She's a busy woman.
She is.
Damn.
She's tearing it up in the
She'll
EDVA.
call us back in the middle of the show, I'm sure.
She will. She'll call you back. She'll call us back, and I'm excited to talk to her because she says she's got a bit of a scoop for us.
That was a great cliffhanger. She's like, I gotta go. I'm busy. I'm important.
I have work to do, ladies. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue on with the news, and then when she calls back, we'll just
Absolutely.
That sounds good.
We're just hanging out.
How'd you meet her? On Twitter?
Yeah.
Cool.
We'll just take her call.
Whoa. Very cool.
All right, so let's move on here. Also on Friday, we learned that another Russian oligarch fell victim to a Mueller stop and frisk at an airport. This one's name is Vekselberg. He's got ties to Herman Kahn. And he was at the Bank of Cyprus when Wilbur Ross ran it. And not only did he attend Trump's inauguration, but he donated $250,000 to the inaugural fund. And Mueller imaged his phone right there at the airport. He's likely not a subject or a target, but his communications will show that Mueller is, in fact, investigating the Trump-Russia conspiracy, or what Trump would call collusion.
I like to imagine him flashing the little Men in Black thing when he's done.
Oh my God. Mueller would totally be in Men in Black if it were real.
If Mueller was real or if Men in Black
If Men in Black was real, yeah, Mueller would be promoted to alien investigation.
Yeah, he would. Mueller in Black. He might be doing it.
Oh my God, Mueller, please tell us.
Mueller in Black.
That's a big scoop for you.
Slide into my DMs. Bob, 3 sticks. Trump on Friday threw Rudy Giuliani under the bus, saying basically that he's new and he doesn't know what he's talking about. That whole thing is just a clusterfuck, by the way. I give Rudy 2 more weeks. Rudy, if you're listening, get out while the getting's good. Your future in politics is dwindling.
It really is.
Stop your messing around. Better think of your future. Time is straighten right out, creating problems in town. Rudy, a message to you, Rudy.
Trump spoke. Kills me. Trump spoke at the NRA annual convention on Friday. He's the first president in 30 years to do this. He did it last year too, but it makes sense because he owes them like $30 million.
He didn't want to be there.
We found out Devin Nunes, Jordan's boyfriend, demands documents from the Department of Justice and then doesn't even read them. Mueller, she wrote, actually reported on this a few months ago, but whatever, it's news now. And that makes me question his ability to read it all, really. If you remember, we talked about this. Nunes demanded to see the unredacted 2-page document about how the FBI obtained the FISA warrant to look at Carter Page and then threatened to impeach Rosenstein if he didn't hand it over. And Rosenstein allowed it. But he allowed Trey Gowdy and Nunes to come in without staffers into a special room and just read the document. He couldn't take it with him. Remember?
Right.
We talked about this.
Oh, yeah.
A long time ago.
And apparently Nunes didn't even open the file. Gowdy read it, and Nunes has since acknowledged that he didn't read it, and we actually reported on that too.
Hey, why ain't you running?
Well, I can't read.
And those who have read it support the continuance of the Mueller investigation. Gowdy, for example, he looked at the document and he's like, so Gowdy reads the thing and he's like, yeah, no, Mueller should keep investigating. And Nunes doesn't read it and releases the Nunes memo.
Ridiculous. That's like Kanye talking about how Beck shouldn't have won the album of the year before he listened to the album.
And then they went back and then they leaked it to all of their homies.
Oh my God.
Didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they went back and leaked.
Didn't they
Yes.
go back? Yeah.
Yes.
We need a Kanye minisode. Can that be a thing?
We can make it a thing.
Yeah.
Do we have to play his music or? I'm kidding.
We have to give him money, so no.
Oh, that's true. We would have to. Yeah.
No money for Kanye.
No.
No.
I
Fucking troll.
He owes me reparations.
Holy crap. Also, Friday, 2 FBI officials resigned. Lisa Page, that's the counsel to Comey and McCabe. You know Lisa Page. If it sounds familiar to you, it should. She's one half of the famous struck page texts that the right tried to use to say the FBI was biased.
That's right.
Also, James Baker left the FBI. He's one of the Comey Five. He's the one that was pushed back into an HR job after being removed as general counsel, who was replaced by Dana Bente. Gotta love Ray sometimes.
It's crazy.
Come on, man, you can do it. He's joining the Brookings Institute to write for Lawfare, which I love. The resignations are not connected to each other, according to the reporting. And they resigned. They weren't pushed out. But were they pushed out? Because they were reassigned to shitty jobs.
You never know.
They weren't working at their full potential.
Hopefully it'll come out later. But yeah, at this point, it's hard to say because it's such a tricky thing.
They had to get the fuck out.
Definitely.
All right, you guys. Thanks for sticking with me for this insane amount of news. We'll be right back. Hello. Thanks for listening to Mueller, She Wrote. I'm talking to you because we could really use your help. There are lots of costs associated with creating a podcast. There's editing, sound equipment, writing and research, hosting, shipping costs, merchandise, branding, web design, consulting, IT, and I'm not too proud to ask for your support. Our patrons are the single source of revenue to cover these costs. And to be totally transparent, we are still in the red. And that's where you come in. By becoming a patron today, you not only support our efforts, but you support women in podcasting and women in media. And the best part is that it's not a one-way street. In return for your pledge, you get access to our bonus content and ad-free episodes. You'll receive our weekly newsletter and our MSW Book Club membership. You'll also get all sorts of great rewards like t-shirts, stickers, reusable tote bags made from 100% recycled materials, and even our limited edition polonium tea from Russia with Love, created just for us by our friends at joysteaspoon.com. So please help us out and head over to MullerSheWrote.com and subscribe today. You'll be glad you did. Hey, welcome back. Hot Notes. Yes, I finally did it. I finally did a Hot Notes clip. I feel official now. It's only been 27 episodes. Today, Jaleesa has some information for us on Michael Caputo. I wonder what his nickname is, like Sammy the Bull or Jimmy the Fish.
The Poot.
Or
I don't know.
Fat Tony. I'm going to call him Four Eyes because he's got glasses.
Oh, there you go.
Mikey Four Eyes
Some
Caputo.
kid called me Four Eyes once, and it made me sad. He was like half my age.
What a
it
dick.
really hurt my feelings.
Was that this year?
No,
Oh, okay.
I do wear glasses. Just not. I'm blind right now because it makes me prettier. But
That was a little roast right there.
it's all good. Yeah, no.
I roast because I love.
Oh, of course. You roast the ones you love. Yeah, Caputo. I don't like him, so you can call him Four Eyes. And
Mikey Four Eyes Caputo.
Mikey Four Eyes Caputo. Yeah,
All right,
suck
Jaleesa.
it.
Yeah, jeez. What do you have for us?
So he was a Republican consultant throughout all this crazy Russia-Trump stuff. And so he worked really closely with Trump, Roger Stone, and Paul Manafort at a time or two.
What a fun group of guys.
I know. It's like the Brody Bunch minus Brody. So
I have to, by the way, I'm sorry to interrupt. I
No
just want to
worries.
let you know.
Yes.
Kimberly could be calling us back at any moment.
Dude, I'm ready.
As soon as she gets out of court. So
Yes.
Now that the commercial's over.
You let me know.
Yeah, I just want to let you know.
At
that
a moment's notice, I'm ready to shut up.
I've turned my ringer on, so we'll hear it.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Continue.
Absolutely. So Caputo officially joined the Trump campaign in 2016, where he was put in charge of communications for New York. So he left the campaign after voicing his approval for the appointment of Paul Manafort as campaign manager. Subsequently, Caputo was investigated by Congress as part of their probe into Russian interference in the 2016 U.S. election. So in January 2018, we covered the letter that Senator Feinstein sent to Caputo asking for an interview and documents related to Paul Manafort, contacts between the campaign or transition team, and Russian officials, and changes to the Republican National Party platform with regard to Ukraine. Of course, Caputo denies any wrongdoings, asserting that he would never work with Russia during his time with the Trump campaign. How dare you? But here's the thing about Caputo and Russia. He lived and worked in Russia from 1994 to 2000. In fact, he was even employed by a Kremlin-connected energy company called Gazprom, if I'm pronouncing that right.
Gazprom is a big one. We've talked about Gazprom a few times.
Huge.
I didn't know Caputo worked at Gazprom.
Right?
Yeah,
This was
that's
crazy.
a long time too. 6 years.
I mean, you make a family. He actually married a Russian woman, which no offense to Russians in general, but yes, his wife is Russian. So that's crazy to me. Like, it's like...
That's why Trump and him get along so well.
Exactly.
It was
It's-
Jill Stein.
That's why she's like, no, I can't tell you my marriage license. I can't. I'm sorry. I know too many Russians.
I feel somehow oddly being offensive to Russians.
Well, we don't want to be racist or like crazy, like
nationalist.
Nationalist. There
I guess,
you go.
is that the term?
Yeah, I think so.
Russia
It's not
isn't a
racist
race.
because racist is color of the skin.
You're
and
right.
they
It's
are
a
white
national
AF.
We are
thing.
strictly just Kremlin.
We are. We're
hating people.
anti-Kremlin. We're
And I can't even say
anti-Russian government.
anti-Kremlin. Just anti-corrupt Kremlin.
There you go.
With
Yeah.
a K.
We don't. Yeah, anti-Russian government.
Kremlin.
Anti that.
His wife could be totally cool.
Anti-autocrat.
Just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Just jokes.
But he did live and work there for a long time. In fact, he was employed by that company, and his task at this company was to, quote, increase the standing of the public relations value of Putin, specifically with regards to Putin's support level in the U.S. So, I mean,
He's he's lobbying for Putin. I bet he didn't register as a foreign lobbyist.
I mean, did any of them? And recently, after being interviewed by the Senate on Tuesday.
To be fair, they haven't really prosecuted anybody under that much.
You're right.
So people just don't feel the urge, the urgency to do it.
But after this, hopefully, it'll become a new thing. Yeah, an enforced thing.
It better.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta have something.
And the Logan Act.
Yeah.
Stop fucking pretending you're the president when you're not yet.
We should have a fantasy future law league.
I think that's the official words of the Logan Act.
Yeah. So basically, Caputo was interviewed by the Senate on Tuesday and by Mueller investigators on Wednesday. And we're now better able to outline the differences between Congress's questions and Mueller's questions. So Caputo told CNN that Mueller's team is very much so still focused on Russian collusion. And specifically, he said, quote, it's clear that they are still really focused on Russian collusion. They know more about the Trump campaign than anyone who ever worked there. He also said, I know, it's
great because honestly, the Trump campaign was such a disjointed shit show.
Oh, yeah.
That nobody knew what anybody was doing. Most of the time, they had to send emails. People did get permissions to do certain things, the right hand's not talking to the left hand. And so for one guy to know more about your campaign than anyone who worked on the
really
campaign.
Concerning.
It's concerning, but it's also...
I mean, we're happy about it, but it's concerning for Trump.
It seems obvious that would be the case.
Because it was a chaos.
Anybody looking at it from the outside is going to have a better
take, objectively speaking,
understanding of what the
even Sessions said it was a chaotic campaign. The people in it were like, I don't know what was happening.
It's a chaotic campaign, chaotic White House, because I think, and I honestly do believe Trump likes chaos. But then he'll come back and yell at the media for distracting
it. Yeah.
Well, from distracting from real news like, taxes going down for Americans and the Korea stuff. You're taking away from that, but he's the one who creates it. So you can't, like I've told my friend, I have a good friend before, I was like, you can't be a bitch and then not be cool with the consequences.
Right. You be a bitch at your own risk, basically.
Yeah, and I was a bitch for a while and I had a great time. But you can't do that and then be upset that people don't like you.
Exactly.
So you can't create chaos and then be upset that the media reports on it instead of what you want them to report on. Just a thought. I know you listen, Donald. I know you're listening. I know you're listening. I'm a tremendous podcaster.
Yes.
I know you're listening. Hopefully, when you go to jail, they'll pump this show into your jail cell nonstop, 24/7, along with Rachel Maddow.
Can we ask Mueller to put that in on his sentencing?
Yes.
Just a little star.
Mueller, I know you listen because your name is on this podcast. Please don't sue us. And, I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be tremendous. But anyway, please continue.
No, very good points. Caputo went also on to say that the Senate and the House are net fishing. The special counsel is spear fishing. They know what they are aiming at, and they are deadly accurate.
Hell yeah.
That's so fucking cool.
Damn. Insane.
But then he's like, there's no collusion. But... Exactly. They're looking into it, and they're really good.
This guy is Team Trump, by the way. Caputo is Team Trump.
That's what I'm saying. He's like, there's no collusion. There's nothing.
But we got to watch out.
Oh, wait, no. Caputo talks more like, there's no collusion. There's nothing going on. I'm Four Eyes Mikey Caputo.
You interviewing me?
Look. Say hello to my little friend. No, that's a different...
his friend is Roger
That's a completely
Stone.
different continent. Sorry.
We're not totally accurate with our impressions, but the facts
a
about
gangster's
the
a
case.
gangster. A gangster is a gangster, right?
Absolutely.
A gangster by any other name would smell as sweet.
Oh, yes.
I think Shakespeare said that.
I think so too. Or like Gandhi.
God.
No, it was Shakespeare.
You're right. After the Senate interview, Caputo went off on the Intelligence Committee. So he complained that the probe cost him $125,000 and that now he's forced to move out of his home in Buffalo just to pay off his legal bills.
Stop breaking the law, asshole.
Thank you. In a prepared statement, he said, quote, "Your investigation and others into allegations of Trump campaign collusion with Russia are costing my family a great deal of money, more than $125,000, and making a visceral impact on my children." My children!
I'm sorry. Did we cost you $125,000? Or did you cost you $125,000? It's time to take a swim in Lake U, Caputo.
Thank you. Oh my
God.
God.
Did this to yourself. And it fucking drives me crazy when people do not accept responsibility for their own actions and blame everyone else.
We're all guilty of something, and Comey talks about this.
Well, I'm not, but it's
right.
I hate it when people don't accept responsibility for their own actions.
Seriously, it's a big pet peeve of mine too, because I know we're all human if you just come out with it. But just to conclude, he added, quote, "Forget about all the death threats against my family. I want to know who cost us so much money, who crushed our kids, who forced us out of our home,
Trump.
all because you lost an election. I want to know because goddamn you to hell."
Yeah, goddamn you to hell. He said that to the Congress.
I just want to add, like,
and then got up and stormed out.
Seriously, it's like Bill Cosby saying, "I don't have a private jet, you asshole," to the judge. It's like, I know you are angry, but realize that this sounds like justice to a lot of people. Like, even if you didn't do anything that deserves jail time, if you were caught up with these sketchy people to the fact where you were, Mueller is not going to call you if he doesn't need you. He's not going to call you if you don't have something already evidence-wise. So
justice is blind.
Justice is blind.
And so is Bill Cosby.
Yes. After you take a Quaalude.
He's not going to be able to see those people sneaking up on him in prison.
Oh my gosh. Screw him.
And
seriously.
and you know what? I don't feel bad. You can email me and tweet at me all you want.
Please
you be
do.
nice. You be gentle.
We'll
you
have
be
a Bill Cosby
You be a
episode.
good human. I'm like, no. When karma happens, I will celebrate it every single time.
And we talk about subjective morality, but at some point you have to decide which side are you on. If it's all gray, which shade of gray?
Well, you talk about subjective morality. I talk about objective morality.
Right, and I stand by subjectivity. I just know that at some point I have to make a decision about where I am on the spectrum.
There are
of
two.
That.
For me, there's two sides. You either do the wrong thing or you do the right thing.
I agree with that. And we don't have to get into it because it's a big deal, but I love I love that you bring that up because I believe that you're not wrong, because I believe that everyone can be right in the right, circumstances.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
so
I agree with you too.
Because you believe in subjective morality, you just go along with what I say.
I'm also on your spectrum. No, it's two things.
That's pretty meta.
Yeah.
So if I say everything's objective, you say,
You're
I
right.
agree with you because I'm subjective.
Exactly, but I also happen to fall on your side of the spectrum.
That's hilarious.
I'm not a terrorist, so I believe that what you're saying is right.
Do you know that? Have you checked the terrorist watch list?
It's a good point. I don't know. But yeah, that's the gist of the whole Caputo update. And
Interesting.
That's
I appreciate you bringing that to us. That guy is Four Eyes, Mikey Four Eyes.
Four Eyes Caputo.
Again, that's my nickname for him. That's another thing.
Hey, we're not perfect.
Well, speak for your side of the table if you want.
I love you,
ENTJ. What?
Yes.
Okay, no, actually, I do have many faults. I'm just not going to tell you what they are. Vulnerability.
You're smart.
I don't do it.
I'll give you that. You're very, very smart for keeping that.
Shirt. Vulnerability. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for that. Jordan.
Thank you.
Jordan, queen of the meltdown reports. You brought us the full Nunberg, then you brought us the Trump-Fox meltdown, and now you have for us the Giuliani-Hannity shit show.
Yes, this may be one of my favorite meltdowns so far.
It was really good.
Yeah, because
the Trump one was manic and insane and gave me anxiety.
For sure.
This one was slow and stupid and made me laugh.
Yep, and hilarious, because this guy used to be the mayor of fucking New York.
And he was the U.S. district attorney in the Southern District of New York.
Yeah, he was Comey's first major boss. Basically.
And Comey's old job. Comey had that job before he was director of the FBI.
Yep, which we'll talk about in our book club.
If you guys aren't part of the MSW book club, this week is really intense and fantastic and beautiful and sad and hilarious.
Get on it,
so seriously, for as little as $1 a month,
$1.
you can listen to the book club.
Yeah, very affordable, very worth it.
Yep.
So, Rudy Giuliani, he ran for the presidency also in his heyday, and there's this guy that made such funny little political chants and jingles for each of the candidates, and Rudy Giuliani's was Giuliani. He's tough. Dun, 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 on security. Dun, 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 dun. Do you remember that one?
no.
Was that real? Was he joking?
Well, no. So he this guy just made all these jingles for Huckabee. It was like, I'm voting for Huckabee.
That's beautiful.
Huckabee.
Random voter.
It's a satire.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it's funny. Anyway,
Because after some of the Trump jingles and the
You
Roy
never
Moore
know what's
jingles,
real.
right,
Jeb.
satire is dead.
Yeah.
It's dead. You cannot any longer assume that something is fake or real.
I need a disclaimer at all times.
I'll retweet something from a Sarah Sanders account where she said, "I'm proud to be associated with Aunt Lydia," and I'm like, "Holy shit!" And someone's like, "That's a joke,"
Right?
And I'm like,
you never
it
know.
didn't sound like one. That seemed like something she would say.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Please continue.
Oh yeah, no problem. If I can find those clips, I'll see if I can put them in our newsletter, maybe or
thank
something.
you.
'Cause it
I
was
like
really
your
funny.
impression though. I was pretty good. It painted the picture for sure.
I'm glad that you sang them too. That way we don't have to pay royalties.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
We'll pay you.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. Keep the wine coming. I'll accept it in that.
I love how you have this sitting here going to waste nutrition drink, and then your wine is right in front of you.
She's balanced.
It's some green shit. It's a matcha lemonade.
Oh, okay. It looked like some wheatgrass.
Oh God! I took a shot of wheatgrass once, and I
bugged
threw
up.
up immediately.
I love
Like
wheatgrass.
in 30 seconds, I had to run to the bathroom and projectile vomit and
It cleansed you, right?
It
That's the
tastes-
idea.
That was pretty immediate. It tastes like clovers to me, and I used to
Really?
eat those when I was
You
a
feel
child.
lucky,
Yeah.
punk? Do you? Sorry. What? I went a big stretch there. I went from 4-leaf clover to Lucky to Clint Eastwood. So my mind works
And
at
you
like
know what?
triple speed.
Yeah, that was
sense.
fast.
Thank you.
it was.
That went
Thank you.
fast.
It's
too.
a record.
It did. There's like a monorail going on.
Yeah,
and releases brain all
clover.
the time.
You feeling wow?
Yeah, my brain is like weird.
See, that's why she's here. That she's an asset
you.
to me.
Thank you.
Yes.
To all of us, not just me. I'm not just using her. I didn't.
You're
she's
too
not.
kind.
I mean, you're not. Okay, we'll talk about what Kanye said later.
Oh yeah.
Fuck Kanye. Anyway, sorry. I don't know if people believe that. I do. I believe fuck Kanye.
If you love Kanye, we're so sorry. Please don't email us, and you're weird.
Yeah. He's done unforgivable things in the last few weeks. Okay. Anyway. So, Rudy Giuliani showed up on Sean Hannity this week and made every true patriot's life so much better. He, number one, admits that Trump fired Comey because Comey would not tell the American people that Trump was not a target of Comey's investigation.
Corrupt intent. That's corrupt intent.
It was. So, of
That
course...
combined with Trump himself saying it was because of this Russia thing,
Gina.
Gina and Russia. That it is. That's the only problem is that it's Giuliani saying it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Giuliani also says subpoena.
I can't even.
Sorry about your
funny
micro
to me.
subpoena.
Oh my God, I'm going to have to serve you 2 subpoenas.
Overcompensate.
That's so
Subpoena?
stupid.
Oh my goodness.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Giuliani. The gift they keep. You're like herpes. You never go away. But there's nothing really funny and awesome about herpes, so never mind. Glitter. You're just like glitter.
There you go.
You're enjoyable, and I can't get rid of you.
Yes, that is a huge left turn from herpes. I applaud you.
Yeah, herpes, just like glitter.
To get out of that headspace you were in and get glitter, that was amazing.
Thank you.
So he does that, which of course contradicts the tale that Trump has been saying this whole time, which is that he was firing Comey over his handling of the Hillary investigation. So thank you, Giuliani, for showing...
I think we have a mini-sode this week going over all the different reasons Comey was fired.
Oh yeah.
Given by many different people.
Right.
Many different sides.
Right.
So
Who knows what the real
if
one
you
is.
are a patron, if you're spending $1 a month to get the book club, the higher loyalty, the entire archive of all of our minisodes, you're gonna hear that this week. It's pretty funny.
It's a good one.
Yeah. So, fucking idiot, Giuliani. and then, so after he does that and this one Sean Hannity interview, he then goes on to admit that while Cohen paid off Stormy Daniels with his personal money, Cohen was then reimbursed personally by Donald Trump himself. This was a huge moment. Before Giuliani could even finish his words, Hannity butts in and says, "Really? I'm pretty positive that Trump said he did not do that.
He's like,
and knew nothing
You
of
see
it.
Hannity's face. He's all.
Yeah.
I wish you could see my face right now.
It's like
Oh
a
my
thumb
God.
with a face on it, really.
It is. It's so square.
I know.
Yeah. And so this is hilarious. This is to which Giuliani responds, "I'm not sure, actually. I haven't investigated it myself yet." What a great lawyer going on national television speaking about the crux of the investigation into your client and misspeaking, you fucking idiot.
It's like he didn't even
No.
prepare.
You're wonderful. You're fantastic. Keep it up.
He really
Right.
is, yeah.
You're amazing. That was an amazing performance.
Yes.
And we
Chaos
need-
just continues.
We need more like it.
Oh yeah, Stormy Daniels' lawyer responds after this happens, just saying, "Thank you, God." This is amazing.
Avenatti got on TV and he's like, he calls up, I think it was on MSNBC or CNN, and they're like, so Lawrence O'Donnell, I think. He's like, so what do you think about what happened? And Avenatti's like,
I believe in God now.
as your listeners know, I've never been rendered speechless, and I am speechless.
Seriously? Wow.
Yeah, he's like, I don't even know
He
what to
should
say.
be on the calendar, or maybe like he's
No,
so
he's
sexy,
he's a slimy.
he is,
fucking
but
lawyer.
he's kind of like a
But
sexy ant. Like he looks like a little.
I think Stormy's would be more.
You're right. Why did I never consider Stormy? She's
Yeah.
hot.
Badass.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
dope.
Yeah,
That'd
we'll
be cool if
talk
she
about
represented
it.
herself, but that's like virtually impossible in such a
Some
hyper-podcast.
guy posted a thing. He's like,
know her.
why did he even fuck such an ugly porn star? Look at that ugly piece of shit.
Oh my
Jesus
gosh, she
Christ.
is.
And I responded, like, says the guy with a dog as his profile picture.
Yeah.
Like,
Right?
and I don't mean, like, he actually has his puppy. Like, you wonder what you look like.
People
fella.
are so like afraid to be themselves online.
That dude jerked off to her at least 100
of
times.
course.
Yeah, that's just
Yeah.
like John Spurlock's picture is a sailboat. Probably from that ad for John Kerry when it's like, John Kerry's always switching sides, and it's him sailing and then it like flips and
Yeah.
goes one other way and flips again and goes the other.
What? Interesting oar technique
Yeah.
metaphor you've got going there,
Yeah.
Spurlock.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
If you guys don't know, we're talking about John Spurlock. If you haven't been listening since episode like 3,
day one.
you wouldn't know what this is. This is this guy who got onto our page and said, if you keep talking like you will, I'm going to fuck you in the heart, bitch.
I think he was romantically confused about his political feelings.
And that, that's so true. And then he asked to meet up with AG for coffee.
Yeah.
He said, we're on opposite sides of this thing, but we should meet up and,
Right.
to show, that we can unite. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah,
to be fair,
we can have a
Democrat and
little
a
James
Republican having
Carville-
sex
Carville
might
thing.
be pretty cool. I'm just saying.
I'm sorry, what?
Sorry, I might have to edit this out, but I was just saying a Democrat and a Republican having sex might be pretty cool, just in
Yeah.
terms of like.
My husband's a Republican.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right. That's right.
I remember. Do you remember James Carville?
Yeah, James Carville and his wife.
Yeah, that always blew my
Hey,
mind.
I like that.
I watched them do a talk together at UNLV once. They go and they do like a little debate, and then they just
Maria
get off
Shriver,
stage and
right?
fuck.
Maria Shriver?
His
Shriver.
wife.
Yeah.
I don't remember her name.
Yeah, I think it's
actually.
Shriver.
Yeah, we don't hate Republicans. Like, obviously, you're married to one. It's just funny how he was this like extreme hater.
I think Maria Shriver was a Kennedy.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know. I'll have to look that up.
We'll
but
look
that
it
just
up.
always blew my mind. And that's okay, because life is multifaceted and we can all love each other. But not after you say you're going to fuck someone in the heart.
even then,
My
I'm
husband
sure.
is not a Trump supporter, so
Okay,
Oh,
fair
yes.
enough. He's just like a traditional conservative, maybe fiscally or some social.
Oh no, Mary
elements.
Madeline.
Okay,
Mary
yeah, that
Madeline,
sounds
I remember.
right.
Yeah. My thing is, I'm only a Democrat because it's kind of the way I was raised to be. I haven't even done enough research to know where I fall exactly because I don't think I'd be a Republican, but who knows? Because I couldn't tell you all of the things that make Republicans Republicans. Top of my head, I feel like the same thing goes for religion. I have a lot of research to do.
Maria Shriver is a Kennedy, and she was Schwarzenegger's wife.
Interesting.
got it.
Interesting. Yeah, like you said, Jordan. We're on the
Apparently,
spectrum.
fucking a Kennedy isn't enough. You got to hit the house or the maid as well. So
Right.
I don't know. If I was fucking a Kennedy, I'd
Yeah.
probably write songs about it.
At least Schwarzenegger's trying to reform the GOP. He's
He
doing
might.
that
Someone needs
new
to.
wave thing, or what's it called? Right? Isn't it called like New Way? Or
It might die if no one steps up.
They're starting to have like meetings.
I'm not anti-GOP. I'm anti the current GOP. You know,
Yeah.
like I'm all for a multi-party system. You don't want
Yeah.
one anything, but yeah, right now it's just crap.
Yes. Sorry, just to jump back in
Of
so I can
course,
finish
yeah,
here.
yeah, go for it.
I'm sweating like a wildebeest.
We're all sweating up in the
so
studio.
sorry. Okay, so
Hot town summer. in the city.
yeah, all right.
San
Like
Diego.
The one day San Diego's uncomfortable. All right,
The
so
one day.
yeah. So basically, Giuliani says he admits. Yeah, that's my segues. Just drawing out words.
Nice segue.
So Giuliani says he admits that he hasn't even investigated the issue himself before he goes on national television and speaks to it. Brilliant. Then, as if that wasn't enough, Giuliani goes on to Fox and Friends, the same set that we once saw Trump had a meltdown on last week, and he doubles down on everything he says and says the exact same thing.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know he Fox and Friends did.
There's a second interview. So a lot of the quotes that I was seeing on the internet are actually pulled from the Hannity and then also the Fox and Friends interview.
Oh.
I was a bit confused about the exact legality, about why exactly the Stormy Daniels payoff situation is a violation of campaign finance laws.
11 days before the thing, right? Before the campaign or the election. No.
What 11 days before the election. No. 11 days was Comey.
There we go.
No, what happened was within 30 days of the election, if Cohen made a $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels to keep her quiet, that's considered a campaign contribution because it helped. Now, John Edwards had a similar situation where he paid off a woman to keep quiet, but he did it a year and a half before his election.
So that was enough time.
So they considered it a private matter.
Right.
But he was still, anyway.
Campaigning, technically. Yeah.
Well, no, he wasn't campaigning.
Oh, at all. Okay.
So they considered it a private matter. So he did not violate campaign violation. But because this happened within a couple weeks before the campaign.
It's so close, yeah.
What they're saying is that this payment had to have had a benefit to the campaign.
Otherwise, why would they do it then and not
right?
sooner?
And Giuliani himself said, imagine... Oh!
Hey, it's time. Yeah.
Kimberly Phillips is calling us back.
Let's do it.
Okay. Put a pin in it. Put some beans on it.
Put some beans on that.
We're going to answer this call. Hello, Kimberly. How was court? I'm sorry. I didn't have you on speaker. How was court?
It was good. My client got to go home, so that was a good thing.
Oh, good.
Excellent. As a good attorney
Congratulations.
Always does.
Thank you.
All right. So I think you were about to tell us about your news scoop about the EDVA Manafort case.
Exactly. So this group is a shout out to my friend Greg Hunter, who is a brilliant attorney in the Eastern District, been practicing for 20 years there, and he happened to actually be in the hearing during this particular motion.
Oh, the one where Ellis went off. The one where Ellis went off on the prosecution.
Exactly. So I got some inside scoop, and he knows everybody, knows all the prosecutors, knows the judges, knows the defense attorneys, knows everyone. So he's a reliable source.
Can he get me Can he get me Mueller's autograph, or at least Weissman's?
I don't know. I will ask him now.
Thank you.
He said, well, I asked him. I said, well, why wasn't the case given to the Eastern District of Virginia to do sort of what they did with Cohen up in New York? And it turns out that back in 2005, when Rosenberg was the United States Attorney in the Eastern District, they looked into these cases.
Well, you're not talking about You're not talking about Rosenstein, right? You're talking about Rosenberg.
Rosenberg, who was the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District.
Got it. I just wanted to clarify.
So not Rosenstein. It's Chuck Rosenberg, who was the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District back in 2005.
I see. So they actually considered these Manafort cases and turned them down.
They considered them and turned them down.
Wow.
So that's why it wasn't given back to the EVBA, which I thought was interesting because I was like, yeah, that would kind of solve everything. But the EDVA had already passed on these years ago. And when they pass on them, do they not try again, even though there might be a new? Well, then you run into statute of limitations problems because you have to loop it back into the Russian investigation in order to beat the statute of limitations.
Oh, snap.
Because if all these events occurred in 2005, the statute of limitations runs, I believe, is after 8 years. So he can no longer be prosecuted for it. Wow. But if you can loop them back into a scheme with the Russian involvement, those particular cases come back in. I get it now. So it would be beyond the statute of limitations if it did not have anything to do with the current Russia investigation. But because it does, and I'm assuming there's some things that we still don't know about how this is tied into the Russia investigation with collusion. If it does tie in with it, then it brings it more current and makes them... They can bring it back up because it's part of the conspiracy going all the way back. So that's sort of the interesting thing that I learned that I didn't know before all this.
I didn't know that either.
hearing-
I thought they weren't bringing it back up in the Eastern District of Virginia because it tied in with Russian collusion, and we just didn't know how yet. And so I didn't know about the statute of limitations and that somebody had already turned it down. That's
crazy.
Had already turned it down.
Wow.
So that's the interesting thing. And then Debreen, Debreen, who is a Solicitor General for the United States. And I don't know if you all know this. Basically, in federal world, the Solicitor General's office is sort of your elite appellate White House attorneys. So Supreme Court Justice Kagan was a Solicitor General. So they're like sort of if there's a really like kind of broad, important political issue that is going up to appeal, the Solicitor General's office handles that as opposed to the U.S. Attorney's office.
Oh, yeah, and Noel Francisco is the current Solicitor General, and he just argued in front of the Supreme Court about the Muslim ban.
That was one of the bones of contentions for Ellis in the hearing on Friday, was why is the Solicitor General coming in to argue this particular motion? And that's part of why he made the request about, well, aren't you all just, filing these charges in order to get him to flip?
Okay, hang on a second. So Noel Francisco was arguing on behalf of Mueller's team in EDVA, or not, well, who, I'm sorry, explain to me. So our Solicitor General is Noel Francisco, and you're saying he was arguing the case for Mueller's team?
No. One of the Solicitor Generals, one of his staff. Not the Solicitor General, but one of his staff.
Okay, so the special prosecutor, the special assistant prosecutor for Mueller, was not actually arguing the case for Mueller's team.
Well, this particular solicitor is working with Mueller's team.
Okay.
I gotcha.
But
Okay.
Somebody out of that. But the court was sort of like, why isn't just kind of a regular, assistant doing this?
Why do you have a staff from the Solicitor General's office?
Why do you have a Solicitor General's office? And the court, basically, the court sort of challenged him and said, what in the memorandum, the Rothstein memorandum, gets you to these 2005 bank fraud charges. And Debreen, who was arguing the motion, basically said to the court, the Rothstein memo is not meant to be relied upon as the full scope of the special counsel's investigation.
And you're talking about the 4-page Rosenstein memo that was mostly redacted, that kind of that they used.
Mostly redacted.
That's the one that that's the one that they used in the D.C. court to fight Manafort's civil case to dismiss the charges.
Exactly, and they filed the same thing when he filed the same type of arguments.
And it's the memo that the GOP is trying to file impeachment proceedings about because they're demanding a full unredacted version of that memo, which Rosenstein has refused.
Exactly, and the judge, and the Solicitor General basically says, that memo is not meant to be relied upon as the entire scope of what the special counsel can do. And the judge basically came back with, well, so that kind of excuse works on my children, but not on my wife.
But not on my wife?
So why don't you let me be the judge in this case?
Oh, because he's the judge. That would be a good idea.
Because he's the judge.
You know, I appreciate that a lot from him, and I hear he's tough. I hear they also call the EDVA the rocket docket because things get through there, and my understanding is that there's one of the 18 charges on his taxes is the statute of limitations is set to expire in October, but I'm thinking that, well, first of all, there's 17 other charges, but I'm also thinking they might be done with it by then because this Ellis guy seems like he means business.
Yeah. Yeah, everything moves very, very fast. Once it's on the court's docket, they're like, we just want to get it off. Nothing hangs around for years on end.
Excellent.
Interesting.
All right, Kimberly.
So,
oh, sorry. Go ahead. You got more.
So the court, as you said, the court also has not seen the unredacted version, and they're like, we want the unredacted version.
Oh.
And so
yeah, and I don't mind him giving it to the court. I mind him giving it to Congress where they can leak it to the White House. That's
exactly. So it's kind of one of these things, like you really can't read into it whether or not he is, for the government or for the defense or going to grant their motion or not grant their motion. But like I said, he's very thorough. So he wants the attorneys to come in and say, hey, look, prove to me there's a legal basis for doing this beyond where the government trusts us.
all right. Great. Well, it sounds like he's just doing his due diligence, and man, Kim, I really appreciate you coming on today and explaining that to us, giving us that inside scoop. So thank you very much, and we'll be talking soon.
Great, and like I said, I'm totally starstruck. You guys are awesome. Have a good weekend. Okay.
Thank you so much. I feel completely legitimate now. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
No problem.
Bye, Kim.
Bye. Holy crap, you guys.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That was definitely worth it. Oh my gosh.
I'm going to have to listen to that, take
And
it all
process
in,
it.
and then I'm going to do a mini-sode about it next week.
You got it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everything she said is insane, intense. She knows somebody that was in the courtroom when Judge Ellis did that. She told us about why Judge Ellis does these things. And she broke some news.
Yes.
That's
Good scoop.
intense. You know what?
Yes.
At Rachel Maddow, I'll hit you up. I'll tweet it to you so you can have it.
Yeah. Thank you, Kim. Thank
maybe
you
a
so much.
shout out. Just every now
I'm
and then.
just saying.
All right. So anyway,
Yes.
Jordan, you were, I believe.
Yeah, I did my own research on that, and basically the short answer of why that's not okay for him to have paid off Cohen is because it's considered a campaign contribution if it's going to do any damage control, and you can legally contribute unlimited amounts of money to your own campaign, but the money has to be disclosed on campaign finance reports, and it wasn't, so that's the main
and if he,
issue.
I heard if Cohen had paid the $130,000 and Trump paid him back immediately, it wouldn't be a problem.
Right. Over time.
Well, it would have been a problem because he didn't report it as a campaign expenditure.
That's the main thing. I think it said he didn't report
So there's
it.
two things. Either it's a contribution helping the campaign, an in-kind contribution, which is illegal, or it's an expenditure of the campaign,
Just
which
not
wasn't reported.
Right.
And it's not the first time they haven't reported shit.
If Cohen paid it and didn't get paid back, it would have been an unreported in-kind contribution.
exactly.
Yeah, and then if Trump does it, then that's just even fucking worse.
Yeah. Stuck between a rock and a hard place there.
Yeah. So basically, Giuliani just completely incriminated. I mean, obviously, it wasn't any sort of official statement, but it's just hilarious. A couple of things that I thought were just interesting that are kind of random observations I made about this interview that Giuliani does with Hannity is the amount that he and Hannity are both referring to Donald Trump as a friend. It's really disturbing
weird.
to me. Yeah, it's like...
And Cohen.
Yeah, exactly. Like
He's a friend. He's a good guy. He's Cohen. He's a good
Roger
friend.
Stone, all of them.
Yeah, at one point Giuliani calls him Donald and then steps back and is like, well, President Trump, you know? He to Hannity once, he was like, you know Donald. And it's like, God, this is just such a perfect reason. It's a perfect encapsulation of how corrupt this entire thing is. This guy had zero experience in politics. He runs for the presidency. His relationship with these people, based on when Giuliani was a mayor and a prosecutor in New York, is entirely based on him being a really big businessman who Giuliani's revealing he was good friends with at the time, so much so that they're on such a first name basis that he would let that slip in an
How
interview.
much corruption can the country even take so blatantly before we just all say, like, wait a minute? Like, this is why I understand why people are upset when they compare Trump to Hitler, because Hitler killed millions of Jewish people, and Trump, he let a couple Americans get stumped out and he bombed a few Syrians. I get that that's like still wrong in its own right? But yeah, Trump isn't Hitler on a murdering stance, but we're talking about the propaganda and the oligarchy.
Well, we could sit here and talk about how many people are going to die because they don't have health care, or how many people are dying in Flint, Michigan, or how many people died in Puerto Rico, or how many people died in the Virgin Islands, or how many. I mean,
you're totally right.
And someone brought up a good point just with that Flint, Michigan thing. Like Compton still doesn't have clean water either. There's cities all over,
How
like
is
Central
this
California.
America?
Yeah.
I just don't understand it.
Yeah, the level of corruption and greed and concentrated wealth is like so staggering, and it's awful that we've grown desensitized to it.
We thought that we wouldn't be susceptible to this kind of, government corruption. We knew that we always had corruption, but we never knew that this would be, I never knew that this would be this level.
I think the curtain's getting pulled back, and we're just starting to actually get a taste of what's always been going on. It's not like stuff is...
Kind of like violence on people of color by the cops.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone's like, is there just a crazy rise of violence on people of color? No, there's a crazy rise of people having cell phones.
Yeah,
the violence is the same.
Yeah.
Totally.
And you're like, this has actually
Pulling
been
back
going
the
on
curtains.
forever. And it's actually better than it was before, and it's still the most horrible thing I've ever seen.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So the fact that it's declined to what it is now blows my mind, because we didn't have all this cell phone videos of
evidence
what used to happen.
Yeah, if slaves had smartphones. I have a joke about if they had freedom. Like
you have some really funny slavery jokes, by the way. If you guys are into slavery humor,
come to our meet and greet. You'll see Julie's do them.
July 3rd, meet and greet. I'm gonna make her do. I'm gonna make you do all of your slavery.
You got
jokes.
it. Oh, please, yes.
And also, your art is incredible. Your paintings are amazing.
Thank you. I want to make a Mueller she wrote based painting. Maybe we can put it up on the store someday.
Yeah, well,
we'll talk about
that
it.
plantation one works just fine.
Hey, you got it.
That works for the Trump administration.
I can whip that up anytime.
So just put Ty Cobb in there. He looks like a plantation owner. It'll work out fine.
Yes.
So just to wrap this up, the last couple things that I thought were noteworthy in this interview was what Giuliani says about Mueller versus what he says about Comey. Giuliani actually gives a very positive review of Robert Mueller. He says he's worked with Mueller. He's a really trustworthy guy. He's a good person. He's a patriot. He's done so much for our country. He trusts him. He's a straight shooter. He says it's everybody else on Mueller's staff that he does not like and he doesn't trust.
Holy shit.
Yeah. But it was really interesting to hear him say so many positive things, right?
That's probably what he's thinking.
Seriously.
Jews.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was interesting to see Giuliani reveal a sort of almost like reverence, honestly, for Mueller. Just complete respectability when he speaks about him, which is amazing.
Everyone does. Everyone has incredible respect for him, except for Trump and Trump supporters.
Yeah.
They think he's Satan, out to get him.
Right.
Lying about everything. And you know what? The day that you go to war and get shot in the leg and watch your friend die, and get a Purple Heart and 2 Bronze Stars, you can come and talk to me about who's an asshole and who's not.
Seriously.
Until then, you are not allowed.
Take a fucking seat.
The end.
And then when Giuliani talks about Comey, he says everything that we hear Trump saying about Comey. He's a leaker and a liar. He says he even goes as far as to say that God made a mistake in putting Comey in the position that he was in as FBI director.
They're trying to appeal to those evangelicals,
like some fucked up stuff.
Well, he's also trying to really hurt Comey's feelings.
Yeah.
Because Comey is a religious man.
He is.
Oh.
He's not as religious as like John Ashcroft, who he used to work for.
But he still has faith,
Because John Ashcroft didn't dance, didn't drink, didn't smoke, didn't do anything. And at one point, Comey used the word turd in a meeting, and it really, really upset John Ashcroft, and he had to talk to him about it later, and he wouldn't even say it to him. He's like, what did I say? And he's like, it rhymes with word.
Oh my gosh.
And Comey's all, because Comey's like, did I drop an F-bomb and not remember? I would remember that. So Comey's religious, but he's not like footloose religious.
Yeah, not allowed to say turd religious.
Right.
That's
completely
pretty crazy.
It's so natural, though. Like, we all have them. Sorry.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Turds?
Yeah, I guess we just can't say it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did you think we all have?
Well, I remember growing up watching the Breakfast Club on TBS, and there's a point where he says, you're a gutless turd, and they edit that to a gutless worm, and I was like, what, turd?
God.
That's
really?
hilarious.
That's funny because gutless worm is a better burn, I think.
That's a good point. When I was in second grade, I wrote a...
aren't all turds gutful? Like, don't they all come from the gut?
They're just a sliding gut. That's basically all a worm is.
So how can you possibly be a gutless turd? You just appear out of thin air as a turd, and then you were gutless?
You spawned from no gut.
Yeah,
I love
you
it.
sprung forth from the armor of
PC
Medea's head, or Hera, or whoever that god, I don't know, myths.
People think PC culture is a new thing, but like in second grade, I know, second grade. So I'm 25. This is 20
Lenny
years ago.
Bruce.
Yeah, like I wrote I did a drawing where I said smoking sucks, and my teacher had a parent-teacher conference to talk about why I felt comfortable saying the word sucks in second grade.
Damn, that's
I
crazy.
actually like your I feel like it had some depth to it because when you smoke, you do suck.
Yeah.
So smoking literally sucks.
Exactly. But my teacher was like, why does she know the word suck? She suck dick? Like, I don't know what they were thinking.
No,
yeah,
sucks is strong language.
Is it?
For you know.
That's so weird to
Why do
me.
you
In
say something
2018. Yeah, I guess I don't say it anymore, but back then it was the same as like, that's lame.
Did you go to Catholic school?
No, public
Interesting.
school in
That's-
New Orleans.
Okay, that's really
Very
weird.
weird.
Yeah.
We also had a chocolate milk in a square bag. So I'm going
I've
to
heard
just
of-
leave that there.
Yeah, bagged milk. I've only
Bagged milk.
I've only heard about bagged milk though from people that are a generation before me.
Yeah, we were just really poor. Yeah, New Orleans public school.
That's government milk.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Republicans in Congress, specifically the House of Representatives, and namely Jim Jordan, Nunes, your buddy, Jordan's boyfriend.
I'd say one guy's hot.
Your team. Your team.
I just like brunettes.
My friend and I have been playing this game for about 20 years called Your Team, where if we see like a creepy asshole or like just somebody we fucking hate, we're just like, your team. We assign him to your team.
Oh, yeah, that's your boyfriend.
And we aren't allowed to play at the county fair because that's just not fair.
It's just mean.
We call it the unfair rule.
It's a good game.
That's so funny.
There are certain places we just, when it's off limits, but all the time, every day of our lives for the last 20 years, we play your team. So,
That is so funny.
Anyway, Nunes is on your team.
I abuse my team.
Meadows and Goodlot, or Good Latte, whatever his name is. They've been trying to undermine the Department of Justice, and specifically Rod Rosenstein and Mueller by proxy. This week, Trump sided with the Republicans in the battle that's been brewing between these Republicans in the House and the Department of Justice since the Mueller investigation began not on April 9th, sorry, since the Mueller investigation began, which is, we're coming up on a year, by the way. It was in May.
We're going to have an anniversary show, basically.
Yeah, 1 year. Well, we didn't start until October 30th.
You're right, yeah.
When the first indictments
Good
dropped.
point.
So, anyway, on April 9th of this year, Meadows and Jordan sent a letter to the Department of Justice. And by the way, Jim Jordan, Ohio's primary is next week. Get him the fuck out. This guy's an asshole. He's I hate his face. He's got one of those punchable faces, like Spencer
Or Sean Hannity.
or not Skrillex. What's that? Skrelly.
I guess Skrillex too.
Skrillex too. Anyway, they sent a letter to the DOJ demanding the fully unredacted 4-page memo that we became aware of in the case that Manafort filed in D.C. to have the charges dismissed. We just talked to Kimberly about it. Basically, that's the memo. Like, the thing they put out to the public about the Mueller investigation was that he can look into anything in the Trump-Russia probe and anything that arises from that investigation.
Exactly.
Then he put out this 4-page memo, and there might be more. I feel like there might be more, but he put out this 4-page memo. Most of it was redacted, saying you can look into these specific things into Manafort. And there could be a million other things in there, and we don't know because, again, it's mostly redacted. So they demanded to see the entire unredacted memo, or they can't do their job. And this week, Rosenstein, Rosenstein. I just keep thinking of young Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Frankenstein. He refused to hand it over. He refused because it's part of an open and ongoing investigation, and because the House Republicans leaked more than Russian prostitutes, really. Actually, it was clear to most intelligent people that Meadows and Jordan were baiting Rosenstein to say no, and that would give Trump a pretext to fire him. Nunes tried this with the FISA warrant justification we talked about earlier, but Rosenstein let him read that with Gowdy in the room, and we all know what happened there. He didn't read it. In response to Rosenstein's refusal to hand over the DOJ memo, Trump tweeted this. He said, quote, "A rigged system. They don't want to turn over documents to Congress. What are they afraid of? Why so much redacting? Why such unequal justice?" He sounds like the Doge meme.
Yeah.
Such redacting, much justice.
Much stable, very intelligent. Yeah.
And he goes on to say, "At some point, I will have no choice but to use the powers granted to the presidency and get involved."
Yeah, you said that last week, right?
Oh my
That
God,
is,
yeah.
that's this week. That's a tweet this week.
He also said it on Fox and Friends.
He did.
Yeah.
That's terrifying, by the way. This is a repeat of something he said, just like you said, Jaleesa, during his Fox News rant when he said the Justice Department, quote, I try and stay away from, but at some point I won't. This is a bone-chilling fascist statement of dictatorial proportions. We have to remove this asshole before this shit gets out of control.
Even if just for his own sake, if not for ours.
Yeah,
like,
fuck his
if you're
sake.
pro-Trump,
fuck that guy.
I don't give a shit about
of
his
course,
sake.
at Mueller, she wrote, we are a big fuck Trump. But if you are pro-Trump and you happen to come across this clip, just vote him out for your own sake. Just be pro-impeachment so that he
Trump
can
supporters
live the
don't
rest.
vote for their own interests. They
True.
never do. They never have,
But
and they never will.
Trump is their Obama.
They're bought and paid for voters
True.
because they are uneducated.
But they're real people. They
Is that
are.
rude?
They're
I
real
don't care.
weird people.
I think that's fair for at least 50% of his base.
Yeah.
I have people that are like family members that are wealthy,
there are
successful,
educated,
smart,
wealthy, successful.
but that's
Yeah.
just because honestly they're greedy fucks.
Yeah, and even so,
Sorry,
it's like
Uncle David.
if you
Well, they
don't
want that tax break for themselves.
Yeah, if you want to come out of this like without a scathed reputation, like just vote him out so that this can just like go away.
Be on the right side of history.
Be on the right side of history, but even if you don't want to, because some of them don't care, just do it for your own reputation.
Yeah, like I have love for those people still because they're still people.
Yeah, just
obviously,
get out while
but-
you can.
But you're so misguided, and you need to realize that your morals are just wrong.
And
They're-
we're already on to you. We have a whole podcast about you. Just go away. Just go away, and then we'll go away.
Nice. No, we won't go away.
No, we never will.
Anyway, then, after this whole thing happened, a document leaked from the Republicans in the House with no names on it, by the way, threatening articles of impeachment to remove Rosenstein. But then, Rosenstein made this great public appearance, and when asked about it, here's what he said.
They can't even resist leaking their own drafts. I saw
Would you care
that.
to elaborate on that?
I saw that draft. I mean, I don't know who wrote it. I just don't have anything to say about documents like that nobody has the courage to put their name on and that they leak in that way. Now, there have been people who have been making threats privately and publicly against me for quite some time. And I think they should understand by now the Department of Justice is not going to be extorted.
So that was from Wednesday. Then he made another public appearance on Friday at the Montgomery County Bar Association's meeting. And he's not a public guy, but he's making all these public appearances, and I think it's to get a message out. He reiterated his point about the separation of powers. So he's pushing back hard, though House Republicans have decided to bring the articles of impeachment to the floor next week. All right, finally, we have to note that the New York Times published an article Wednesday saying a former federal law enforcement official said Mr. Rosenstein and top FBI officials have come to suspect that some lawmakers were using their oversight authority to gain intel about the Russia investigation so they could share it with the White House. No.
Seriously, dude.
This podcast has been saying that since the beginning of this podcast. It's conjecture, but we're right. We've been asked on multiple occasions if these Republicans can be punished for this abuse of power to obstruct justice. The thing is, we don't have a precedent for it. There was one other time when a lawmaker demanded records from the DOJ in the 1940s. But when Attorney General Robert Jackson refused, who is Rosenstein's hero, by the way, Congress backed off because they understood the separation of powers. So we are in a completely new world, and we are in new territory now. And I'm unable to answer whether or not these Republican lawmakers can be prosecuted for demanding documents from Rosenstein and turning them over to the White House. All I can say is that I hope they can be charged with obstruction of justice.
Preach.
We'll be right back. Thanks for listening to Mueller, She Wrote. The she in Mueller, She Wrote is no accident. Did you know we are 100% women-owned and operated? Every single person that helps make this podcast possible identifies as a woman. Our creative and web design, our engineer and producer, our editors and digital media manager, our agent, our ad execs, our merchandising manager, our writers, the facility manager for our July 3rd live show, and even the USPS clerk that helps me with shipping. All women and all LGBTQ plus allies. We will continue to employ and partner with women as our podcast grows, but we could use your help. Please support women in podcasting and women in media by visiting MuellerSheWrote.com and becoming a patron today. All right, you guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for listening to our ads. If you don't want to hear them anymore, you can just become a patron. It'd be great. But are you ready for the Fantasy Indictment League?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
All right, it began to worry me this week, wondering what happens if Rosenstein is fired, because it's starting to look like they're setting him up to be fired with these bullshit document demands. Joyce Vance said in an interview this week that Mueller would not have mentioned a subpoena to Trump's lawyers unless it was cleared and approved by Rosenstein. So I was like, Mueller better issue that subpoena before Trump fires Rosenstein. Right? But then I remembered the dinner. You guys remember when Sessions and Rosenstein and Francisco, the Solicitor General, and the third in line, he's the third in line at the DOJ, first in line to have oversight of the Mueller investigation, all went out to dinner in D.C. and allowed the press to take photos of them? Remember? Do you guys remember?
Oh, yeah.
And that was not just a casual dinner. That was a public statement of a united front. And Rosenstein said in an interview this week that the DOJ will not be extorted, as we played in an earlier clip, and that no one is above the law. So I am confident that if Trump fires Rosenstein, Francisco will continue oversight of the Mueller investigation unfettered until Trump replaces him. But that leaves just enough time for the Solicitor General to approve Mueller dropping the sealed Manafort indictments and to subpoena the president before Sessions resigns, because Sessions promised he would resign if Rosenstein is fired.
Exactly.
And a new AG would be put in his place by Trump to stop the Mueller investigation, but by then it will be too late.
It's so past Watergate at that point.
So that's conjecture, but I'm right.
Hell yeah.
Oh, and also add Michael Four Eyes Caputo, into the flip column.
Yes.
I'm taking him off of the indicted column. I'm putting it into the flipped column, along with Michael Cohen. I think Cohen's going down.
Cohen's gonna.
I think Cohen's gonna flip.
You think so?
Cohen.
He's gonna flip like we've never seen.
Yeah, does Trump not understand by pushing these people away, he's gonna make them flip?
Well, I think back to like my early
I think he's
years.
trying to make the. Sorry to interrupt you, but I think he's trying to like make this public statement that he's an asshole, so that everyone's on board with him.
Exactly. But what else can you do when you're so caught up in a lie?
All right, you guys, this week's sabotage is that Reuters reported that it may be very difficult for Giuliani to get security clearance because of his work with foreign clients.
Oh, amazing.
All of this.
Including Qatar.
God.
It's so funny. So I don't know how much security clearance you are required to have to be on Trump's outside legal team. But he's applying, but I don't think he's going to get clearance. I think he's going to be folding napkins with Jared.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
And the calligrapher should probably be his.
Yeah, I can't wait for Kushner to start coming up in the news cycle again.
It's going to happen.
It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, it's going to happen. There's this whole standoff shaping up where Trump's just going to fire the DOJ, and the DOJ is just going to wait until the very last second when it has all the information it needs, and it's just going to start dropping indictments.
Because even if we don't have the wave we need, which it seems like we will, but let's say Russia interferes or people drop the ball and we don't have that blue wave we're predicting, Trump will still be president for 3 more years. So we're going to have this case for 3 more years. Oh, 2, sorry.
We've already been through 2 years, dude. We're doing okay.
You're right.
We're doing okay.
All right. Also, I have multiple sabotages. Well, 2. The Wall Street Journal reported today that Cohen actually took out an additional $774,000 in additional lines of credit in the 90 days leading up to the election.
That's a lot.
Now, this...
or it seems like a lot.
Okay, remember when I reported, and I know it was conjecture, but I'm right, that he did travel to Prague, and that he did pay in cash because of plausible deniability Russian bots to interfere in the election.
Right.
Do you remember? Well, maybe that's where that money went.
Yeah.
Because it has to go somewhere.
Somebody said 1.2 million, and I was like, that's close to 1.6 million. Sounds like an abortion.
I've been watching Breaking Bad
but
again.
But it's not so
money
much.
has to be funneled somewhere because somebody wants that money and they want to spend it.
The fact that Giuliani used the word funneled
is already
hilarious.
very telling.
Yeah, all of his language is like assuming
it's
that
mob
they're guilty.
language, right?
Yeah, he knows better.
I have a quick question for you, AG.
Yeah, go.
So is that something, those documents about that line of credit, is that something that will be covered in the information they seized when they did the raid on him to know what it was used for, who they got it from?
Yes, and if it has to do with Russia, they will probably hand it back to Mueller.
Cool.
That's, again, conjecture, but I'm right. That's my new catchphrase.
I love it.
I love put some beans on it.
But it's
My
conjecture,
friends
but I'm right is
love
more
the
relevant.
conjecture, but I'm right.
I like it
them,
too.
They love it.
I enjoy it. I again,
'Cause
Dallas.
you're owning the fact that you are very knowledgeable. Of course, we're all flawed, but most of the time, your percentage of like correct conspiracy theories are on.
You're like a
fleek.
Reiki master.
Well, I'm
really
also
are.
very, very. I love to be right, and I know that in these situations I can be proven wrong.
But you take
So I
pride
am
in when
not-
you are right.
But I'm not going to go out on a limb and say something that I think is going to happen unless
Right.
I'm
Pretty
really sure it's
confident.
going to
Yeah,
happen.
pretty
That's
sure.
why I love you.
A
AG.
woman's intuition.
Mixed with giant education.
Yeah.
It's a good educated guess. Yes.
And I know people in the government, but we won't talk about that.
We
Perfect
don't have
storm.
to get into that. Yeah.
All right, you guys, let's get to questions and comments,
Ooh, this
shall
is
we?
quickly becoming one of my favorite sections of our podcast.
Seriously. yeah.
And this is quickly becoming my favorite episode.
Yeah, this is a good episode.
That phone call from Kimberly. I can't wait to
Amazing.
break that down with
we
myself.
gotta do more with phone calls. I love that.
I like it too. I actually reached out to Natasha Bertrand. I found out she follows us. Holy majoli. My hero in reporting. She works for the Atlantic, and
That's
she's
so
incredible.
cool.
She's a pundit on a lot of the
She's got a lot
the
of
Right.
followers. She's big time.
Oh, I love her so much.
Yeah.
She follows us. I
Thank
sent her a
you,
message.
Natasha.
I was like,
Last
"Look,"
night she did?
I sent her a message. I was like, I'd love to have you on the pod. What's your fee?
Seriously.
We'll see.
We can talk about whatever you
We
want.
might have to do a Kickstarter. Be prepared to
Just
give
to
more
have
money.
her. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Be prepared
She's
to
very
give more,
busy.
give more money to Mueller, she wrote.
Get
We're
more
so
money.
poor, guys. I mean, come on.
I know. Fuck.
Well, y'all are. I'm in my
True.
40s.
Yeah, but you
Yeah.
worked hard for that.
The
This-
40s are the white privilege of life.
Even then, you deserve more, AG.
we have money. We have connections. We have cats outside.
We have
apparently being
podcasts.
very vocal. Oh, and I did open a window in here, so if you hear some background wind,
Yeah.
I don't care if you're angry.
Yeah, it's because my crack was quickly becoming a slip and slide.
Yeah,
That's
well,
my
hey.
pant
Really
lint.
interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting information. All right, let's get into this. At Lakoti says, quote, "What is it with Rudy Giuliani? Has he gone around the bend?" Jordan, I'll give this to you.
Around the bend. I'm only 24, so you'll have to explain to me what that reference is. Just kidding. Crazy?
Yes.
Has he gone crazy?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's one of the lights
Yeah.
on, but nobody's home.
Yeah. No, yeah, I'm
Definitely.
just kidding. I think, yes. I don't think he's gone crazy. I think this is the exact kind of person Giuliani is. I think it's why him and Trump get along so well, as he
Yeah.
constantly talks about in any interview he ever has about Trump, is how good of friends they are. I
Absolutely.
think they speak the same
you don't
language,
think
which
he's
is
crazy?
gibberish.
He's just who he is. And Trump,
Yeah.
if you want to call Trump crazy, I understand. But Trump is not crazy if you are his friend.
Hey, you know what, Kanye? I don't want to hear about what you have
You're
to say.
right.
about
You're
Trump.
right. We're gonna, the stigma behind crazy is gonna end.
Are you gonna let me finish? Are you gonna let me finish?
No, you know what? If he's crazy or not, I don't know, but he's definitely diabolical and he's definitely a lying
Yes.
asshole.
He's not respected by people.
In
Bless
this
you.
day and age.
Yeah,
You
he's
can
not.
keep that sneezing if you
You're
want.
allergic to bullshit, is what it is.
Yes.
Yes. I'm gonna high five you from across.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
It was a,
You know what? It's a spiritual high five.
It was
That was
a
perfect.
It was a feeling.
Yeah, he's not respected by anybody. He's always been crazy, and I guess he's maintained high level jobs for a long time. But honestly, I don't think he's very well liked or respected.
Do you realize that this episode is going to be so long we could split it up into 5 pieces and become a daily podcast? But
Yeah.
then I would feel like I was robbing people.
You know
of
what?
something.
Someday, that's not a bad idea.
So here's what to do. No, you know what? We got to get the news out when it comes out. But here's what to do. If you're really just tired, just listen to about 20 minutes a day every day.
Yes.
Get
there
on the
you go.
treadmill. Do whatever
Break
you
it
know,
up.
you need to do. Have a glass of wine. Whatever you need to do. Break it up.
Yes.
I'm not going to not put out these episodes
We'll be here
in their
every
entirety.
week.
I have
right.
to.
But it's a lot. It's a lot.
It is. All right. At Seth Taylor says, what info do you think the FBI got from the Cohen call intercepts? Do you think Giuliani knew about the surveillance from his FBI contacts? All right. First of all, we learned later in the week that Cohen's phones were not wiretapped.
Right.
It was a pen register. And do I think Giuliani knew about the surveillance from his FBI contacts? I don't think Giuliani's FBI contacts are working for the FBI anymore.
And I don't
Yeah.
think Rudy knows anything.
I was just gonna say he admitted on Sean Hannity that he doesn't know anything about the Cohen
He's catching
deals.
up. He wants to
Yeah,
save
but-
them without facts.
But check this out. Giuliani had contacts in the FBI New York field office in the election, and that's how that whole thing got out about the Comey or the Hillary Clinton emails on the Wiener laptop. I don't think he has those contacts anymore. I think they have been removed from the FBI.
Yeah.
That is an investigation that is under seal. That's conjecture, but I'm right. Mary Upchurch writes, quote, how does everyone... I love Mary too.
She's
burritos.
the one that gave us the burritos.
They were so good, Mary.
Yes, we ate them all
very quickly.
Like in short order. She writes, how does everyone stay sane? I'm getting exhausted by the cycle of news heating up and then nothing coming of it. I know, Mueller is working on it, and there's lots going on behind the scenes, and I'm glad there are people out there like MSW who are tirelessly pursuing the truth and justice, and I'm thankful for that because sometimes I just can't even. By the way, if he fires Mueller or someone gives him a Nobel Peace Prize, I will lose my mind.
Yeah, good point.
I know that waiting for this thing to wrap up is pretty frustrating. It's like waiting for the beat to drop in an EDM song or a dubstep song in a club. Indictments. Okay, that's funny. Nick McLaren says MSW is part of how he stays sane, and we, quote, give him a post to hang on to in the whirlwind. That's very nice. It reminds me of a little Twister, when they find the little thing.
Or like Castaway, like with Wilson. We're like Miss Wilson. Yeah.
Eva De La Rosa says, the humor infused with the facts helps me maintain what's left of my mental health. I want it to come to an end, but I have to admit I will miss AG, Jaleesa, and Jordan, and I hope they'll come up with a new podcast to entertain us.
Hell yeah.
Look, we aren't stopping. This Mueller train is not
we're going to go
stopping.
forever as long as we can.
It's forever as long as we can. I like that tagline. Mueller, she wrote, forever as long as we can. Desi Ralph says, I don't stay sane. I lost my mind a month ago, but Mueller, she wrote helps.
Oh, thank you. And I'm so sorry. We'll find it. We'll get back to normal, whatever that is.
At Jordan T. Walker says, quote, I hereby nominate Michael McKean to play Donald Trump in the movie because he could start with Chuck McGill from Better Call Saul and add false bravado and wannabe charisma. I totally get that. What's really funny is Michael McKean is in our opening sequence. Quote, so it's true. You are a communist.
That's right.
That's Michael McKean.
So good work.
I'm going to go home and sleep with my wife.
Yeah, which Muellerite was that? What's their name?
Oh, that was at Jordan T. Walker.
Jordan T. Walker. Good detective.
Could be Jordan. It could be Jordan Twacker.
Twacker.
Or
hey.
Jordan
Twerker.
Walker.
Do you twerk, Jordan?
All right. At HP Down Under says, quote, because it's
a computer company in Australia.
HP Down Under UNDA, so it's not the hard R.
Okay.
So you'll appreciate that. Quote, what do you make of the fact that 49 questions did not include anything on money laundering? Do you think Mueller is handing that off to another prosecutor so he's not accused of going beyond his remit? This is a really great question. I have a couple theories about this. First of all, I think the reason that there was no questions in money laundering in Sekulo's 49 questions is because he didn't want to upset Trump.
Yeah.
He knew that if he put money laundering questions in there, that Trump would be like, F that guy into A and fire the shit out of
the heart. Yeah.
Mueller. Yeah, he'd just go Sekulo. He'd go full Nunberg.
Yeah.
But also, this is interesting. Do you think Mueller is handing that off to other prosecutors? No, and here's why. It's tied into the Russia investigation, just like when we just talked Kimberly.
Right.
And we talked about why didn't they hand off the Manafort money laundering and tax evasion to a U.S. attorney. It's because it's tied into the Russia investigation. There's Russian collusion there. If there wasn't, they would have handed it off.
Heads up, yeah.
They would have, with the heads up, they would have handed it off. All right, at Liz Stewart Comedy. So COMED.
Okay.
So it looks like at Liz Stewart Comed.
Yeah.
Or CumD.
Okay.
Wants to know if AG Schneiderman is making any headway in closing the double jeopardy loophole in New York. I don't know. I looked it up. Haven't heard anything yet. At Nix Rocks asks, quote, when the Dems retake the House, will the Republicans still be able to obstruct even though they'll be the minority? I'm really worried. I hate them.
Yeah. I mean, I understand where you're coming from. It's rough. What do you think, AG?
Well, here's the thing. When you're the majority in these committees. You get what you need. You're able to dictate what subpoenas are done and what investigations are
you
done.
can Mitch McConnell it.
Now, what I don't know is that if you have, like, let's say he fires Rosenstein and Sessions resigns because of it, and you have a brand new AG who just refuses to cooperate with anything the Democrats do, I don't know.
Right.
That becomes an issue where you're the head. It's going to be Adam Schiff, right?
Yeah,
you're the head of the House Intelligence Committee, and
so
you're like,
beautiful.
all right, from now on, here's what the fuck we're doing. And then he starts requesting shit from the Department of Justice, and the head of the Department of Justice, the new AG or the DAG or whoever Trump puts in place, if it's not Noel Francisco, God, stay in there, Noel.
Yeah, please.
Could just be like, no. So it really depends. This is territory we've never been in. So, okay, so at Poop Weasel wants to know, God, I love Poop Weasel. I really think I'm just reading their questions because this Poop Weasel wants to know how many more weeks does Mueller wait before he subpoenas Trump and to talk to the grand jury? And if Trump makes a move to fire Sessions or Rosenstein, does Mueller immediately serve him with a subpoena? And does Mueller file more indictments? All right, so this is a multifaceted question.
Right.
First part is how many more weeks does Mueller wait before he subpoenas Trump? I don't think it's going to be long. If Mueller actually if Trump is actually taking the stance that I think he's taking, which is to completely defy everything, it'll be within 6 weeks.
He said it himself, right? He's giving a 60-day notice before he thinks.
Well, that's the Flynn.
That's separate.
Sounds
Okay, good point.
No, so what I think is, I think it's going to give him another 6 weeks, and unless Trump blatantly denies, like, and says, "I'm not going to talk to you," then I think whenever that happens, he will.
Good point.
In fact, subpoena Trump.
Yeah.
To come and talk to the grand jury. The second part of that is if Trump makes a move to fire Sessions or Rosenstein, does Mueller immediately serve him with a subpoena? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I would imagine.
And does Mueller file more indictments? Well, file more or release more? There's several sealed indictments on the docket. I think they might be dropped at that point. But I also think, and I think we've said this in a little earlier, is that the Solicitor General, Noel Francisco, will take over and make that happen. So at Clint Jenkins 85 said, "Didn't realize you had a PhD. Would be good to know your guys' backgrounds."
It's a good point, though. CJ makes a very good point.
All right, so I have a PhD. I'm a veteran. I'm 44 years old. I work for the government. I'm not going to tell you which department.
Right.
I have my PhD is in health administration. I'm a comedian. I've been doing it for 10 years. I am a headliner and a feature, so
Hell yeah,
I'm
you
at
are.
all the major clubs, Laugh Factory, Improv, Comedy Store. And I was in the documentary The Invisible War about rape in the military. You can check that out. Other than that, I don't know. I'm just AG.
You're just AG.
Jordan, give us your little bio. Yeah. The original gangster. That's my favorite.
My ex-girlfriend, I'm going through a breakup, but she lost her mind when she saw that. She was like, wait, original gangster? Did someone say that? That's the greatest
She didn't break
thing.
up with you because we talk about her on the pod.
Right. She did not. She's
Okay,
actually,
just
she wants
checking.
me to let you know that she thinks you're a genius. She's like, did you tell AG you think that I think she's a genius yet? And I'm like, no, I haven't found the
I
right
think
time.
she's an amazing person
Well,
too.
here we are.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry about
Shit happens. Yeah.
It does.
I'm single, Muellerites, if you're
Oh,
interested.
hey,
Jaleesa's dope as fuck.
Yeah.
Bob Mueller, what's up?
She's hot. Sorry to objectify
Oh,
you.
thank
She's
you.
smart. She's funny.
Comey.
Podcast is so
Comey,
sexy.
if Patrice ever abandoned you, you know what's
Thank
up.
you very much.
Jordan, who are you?
Yes, I am Jordan.
The end. Julissa, who are you? No, I'm sorry. Continue.
Let's see. Okay, grew up in Las Vegas. My dad's an attorney. I went to UC San Diego. I got a degree in political theory, which is basically just political philosophy. And I then I was really involved in activism. I lobbied for students in this organization called UCSA. It's UC Student Association.
Yeah.
And I was super into Occupy. That was when I was also sleeping in tents for a large portion of my
wish I
freshman
knew you.
year. Yeah. I learned a lot about like lateral leadership versus vertical leadership and the inefficiencies of both and what that, sort of turns into.
Yes.
If I were going to talk about who you are, here's what I would say. As a comic and a co-host, Jordan brings astute observation with a healthy dose of wit. Her dry, often tongue-in-cheek contributions are balanced by her solid grasp of the subject matter. In addition to being a successful comedian, she's also an author, a performer, an all-around awesome human being. Look for her at the Comedy Store, the Madhouse, and anywhere major comedy is for sale.
Yes. Thank you so much, AG.
I wrote that for you, didn't I?
It's beautiful. It's so beautiful.
And it's completely true. And
It's
I love
100% true.
you know what's really interesting is when I first asked you to be on this podcast, when I first decided I have to do a podcast, and I asked you and the two of you, I knew about your comedy and I knew about your intelligence and wit, but what I didn't know is that you were a poly major.
Yeah.
Like hardcore.
Yeah. I really wanted to go. I still think about, if comedy doesn't work out, getting my PhD in philosophy or political theory and being a professor.
Or
I'm really into that.
Running for office.
I used to want to do that, and then I did student government and saw a little bit about bureaucracy, and I was like, I don't know if I have it in me to do this. But
It's rough.
The bureaucracy is tough.
Yeah.
All right,
But,
Julie, so tell us
but
about
yes.
yourself.
Well, my experience as far as schooling is I dropped out multiple times attempting political science as a degree. But what I learned from like hands-on the street, like Jordan mentioned with Occupy, I was involved with the San Diego branch. So the Wall Street version was like the big deal. But I was so engulfed in the whole idea of income inequality as a super poor person that I would hang out at the meetings in San Diego every week. I was involved with like the finance committee, so they would like give me the Occupy donations to have overnight. Yeah, but I was like followed by people.
Oh, that. Oh, God, because you had literal cash on
Yeah,
you?
I literally had cash in my backpack. And I remember thinking that some people in the Occupy scope were just moochers. They really were. So I wanted to do something that was political, but also very effective and not infiltrated by fakes. And that's why I love what we're doing now, because even though Occupy was like 2013, 14-ish, 16-ish, I feel like Mueller, She Wrote is the first time that I've ever done something that was effective and also just pure. It's like we're all imperfect human beings, but our intentions are pure.
Why are you dragging me into
You're
your
totally right.
perfection?
AG is the perfection of the group, and yes,
Thank
I
you.
feel like I'm just learning a
so
lot.
not.
I have so much to learn, and I'm just like so floored at it being a part of this. So yeah, my experience is protesting, but like my interest is so aligned with what we do, and I'm just learning every week.
Well, my main reason for bringing you into this is your spirit and your
Thank you.
dedication
Yeah.
to activism. And I knew you were so young, and I knew you had a lot to learn. I know you still have a lot to learn. I actually have a lot to learn. You have taught me some things, as a matter of fact, and that is the benefit of bringing in this kind of diversity. I think my bio, or I think the bio you put in is she has performed at the World Series of Comedy, Burbank Comedy Festival, OC Pride, and San Diego Pride. You've also been featured in BuzzFeed, Rooftop, Huffington Post, SD Voice and Viewpoint, Uptown News, and you can be seen performing regularly all over Southern California.
So funny.
All right, so at Nicholas Chat asked, what's the best advice you've ever heard? Interesting.
Okay, I think we've talked about this before. I would say if you have a problem in your own personal life, you have to name it to tame it. So I think that's my favorite quote.
Name it to tame it.
You
Got
got to
it.
address your problems, yeah.
Jordan, what's your best advice ever?
I gotta be honest, my best advice was given to me when I went into touring. I used to do like touring in the music industry, and it was to shut up when you're new to a place. And that sounds like harsh, but
It's good advice for an extrovert.
it was such good advice for me. Yeah, be
Good
quiet,
advice for an extrovert.
learn, listen, think, and then when you're at a point where you have your bearings and you're actually at a place to speak, because words are powerful, then speak.
Very good point.
My best advice was from my dad, and it's an old Cherokee proverb that says, when you were born, you cried and the world rejoiced. Live your life in such a way so that when you die, The world cries and you rejoice.
Oh my God.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Your dad, you said, told you that?
My dad
That's
shared that Cherokee
incredible.
proverb with me.
Oh
That's
my
beautiful.
goodness.
And I live my life every day to do that because my father passed away when I was 16. So.
And I'm so sorry about that. All I want is that when I die, which is inevitable above all things, even before the Mueller investigation will be over, we're going to die probably.
You're going to do a 5-minute bringer at your
I
funeral?
will try my best. I just want to believe that more people were left off better than when I was born.
Yeah, when you die, the world cries and you rejoice. That's
what I want.
Immediately what I want.
Yeah.
And that's the best advice I ever got. All right, so thank you for that. Oh, and he also asked, and if you could pick up one new entertainment skill, what would it be?
Ooh, I would sing. I'd be a better singer.
Banjo.
Yeah.
Banjo.
Vocals. What about you, Jordan?
Entertainment skill.
Because you can already do a lot of things. You're already a great
right? Because
comedian.
you're a shitty actor. I'm kidding.
Are you?
Well, I don't know. I was
kidding.
gonna.
No, she's not. I'm kidding.
I'm inclined to say mime.
Ooh.
Are you fucking kidding me? I fucking hate mimes. Fuck mimes.
They just express so much with no words.
In
It's
fact,
incredible.
literally, everyone go out and fuck mimes. They can't say no.
That's right.
Yeah,
you can't.
all mime
They
sex.
just put their arms in a cross.
All mime sex is consensual. Okay, I'm sorry.
While it is true.
Really, mime? Come on.
Yeah. Okay.
You lie like a rug.
We're comedians.
Oh, okay. I'll say this. This is gonna sound super lame. But I would love to be able to dance on point.
Really?
I
Like
dance
twerking or
ballet.
what?
Well, on point shoes.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
really?
A lot
I did
of you
ballet
don't-
growing up, but I never did point.
A lot of you
I'd love
don't
to
know
do
this,
point.
but Jordan is an actual professional gymnast.
Like legitimately.
From back in the day.
I've seen your
Have you,
pictures, Jordan.
Is there any way that you can send in the next newsletter your balance
Please
beam?
do.
Sure.
Please.
Okay. So if you're not a patron, you are sorely missing out because
You want to see Jordan in the most impressive position.
Jordan is gonna
her life.
Jordan's gonna put out in the next newsletter this Wednesday morning, I think at 9. Thursday morning morning at 9. Her balance beam, and this isn't bullshit. This isn't like I walked across this. She's doing double back
not a
handsprings
joke.
and shit. And if you want to be part of that, you have to join.
That's so funny.
Mueller, she wrote, as a subscriber.
Just
and
$1. That's all you need.
Just $1 to see
Yeah.
Jordan do that shit. And you know what? Do it for $1 and then quit if you want. I don't
Or
give
you
a
can
shit.
wait 2 years till the next Olympics and
There
watch
you go.
people for free that are much better.
Excellent.
Very cool.
All right. At Sister Reliable wants to know if there are any updates on the rumors that the $1.6 million payoff for an abortion was Trump and not Brody. Nope.
No
No
proof
updates.
yet.
No updates.
Just the theory.
Yeah, Julissa will know. She's the Brody whisperer.
I'll let you know.
Ashley Judd Arrington. Did Ashley Judd get married again?
Judd Apatow? No, not the same.
She says, this is amazing. She says, quote, in Mormon folklore, there is a tale that someday the Constitution will be hanging by a thread and a Mormon will save the country from ruin. It's called the White Horse Prophecy. And every time AG mentions the potential of Romney being elected and leading a cohort of Republican senators to vote with the Democrats to remove Trump, I think, damn it! Does AG even know about the White Horse Prophecy?
Dude.
That's gotta be.
Did you know about that?
No.
I've never heard of it, but it makes complete sense.
Oh my God.
Please elaborate.
Joseph Smith and the Romney Nine. Wow. Okay, so you know about my whole theory about...
Of course.
Well, apparently the goddamn Mormons have a prophecy.
They have a theory about this.
About the fucking Mormons saving the Constitution.
That's why they're here.
Oh
not
my
because of the
God.
diapers. They're here because they're going to save us.
And here's what's extra weird. You guys ready for extra weird?
Yeah.
In 2006, I released an album called Profit Flower.
No way.
Not Profit Money, but
That was the
Profit
name of your
Profit.
album, AG?
Coincidence?
Whoa.
The White Horse Prophecy is real, you guys.
I believe it.
Does that make me a prophet? Am I a prophet now?
I was actually protesting against Romney, and I feel kind of bad because yeah, I think he might.
Should I start a cult?
We might
Yeah.
need to.
Yeah. No,
Well,
dude,
you were
if-
protesting against Romney when he was running against Obama.
But I feel bad because
that's
Romney
different.
had great points.
Oh, yeah.
That's different.
I
Well,
mean,
the Russia thing.
He was great in healthcare for Massachusetts, more so than a lot of Dems.
That's
honestly.
Obamacare.
Yeah,
True.
exactly.
Romney-care, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. If Romney comes in and saves the GOP, fuck it, fine.
I'm down.
I'll I'll high five a Mormon. I don't
Hell
care.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
here's the great thing.
Moral subjectivity.
Mormons taught me how to play piano. Really. All my piano lessons came
You're a
from
piano
Mormons.
player, AJ?
I am an everything player.
Okay.
I like magic underwear. Yes, it's so fun to wear.
I love it.
Blame Canada. Yeah.
You're so
Dum 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 dum
multi-talented.
dum. Yeah, no, it's but seriously, the white horse prophecy
It's real.
could come true. The Constitution is hanging in the balance.
We need it. We need
we
something.
might be relying on Mitt Romney, and I'm so sorry because I think there are a lot of people who follow us that are in our closed Facebook group.
Yeah.
That are ex-Mormons that are
Right.
like, don't do it, AG, and I'm
But-
like, no, I gotta.
We got to do it for the right reasons. We can leave behind the parts that don't make sense.
Yeah.
But we need Romney to represent some good. He's not all bad.
The white horse prophecy is real.
It's real.
Joseph Smith, maybe me and he's ridiculous.
That's amazing.
I'm cool with it. I'm down.
All right, you guys, that's been our show.
Holy shit. Holy shit.
Please head over to iTunes and give us a rating. We need it. We really need
Yes.
it. And subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. We love you so much. I've been AG.
I've been Jaleesa Johnson.
I've been Jordan Coburn.
And this is Mueller, She Wrote. Mueller, She Wrote is produced and engineered by AG with editing and logo design by Jaleesa Johnson. Market consulting by Amanda Reeder and Unicorn Creative. Our digital media director and subscriber manager is Jordan Coburn. Our partners are fastgrass.org and joysteaspoon.com. Fact-checking and research by AG with support from Jaleesa Johnson and Jordan Coburn. This week's episode of Mueller, She Wrote is written by AG, Jaleesa Johnson, Jordan Coburn, Sarah Hirschberger Valencia, Jesse Egan, and Sarah Lee Steiner. Our web design and branding is by Joelle Reeder with Moxie Design Studios, and our website is MuellerSheWrote.com.